Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Alexios here on a Wednesday after a loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. A tough loss because they're shorthanded without Giannis and Chris Middleton. And we're full strength and we should beat them. But there's a lot of different things that we still have to work out. There's problems with our team. I would really say the biggest problem that happened yesterday was missing the free throws. Nick Nurse even said it in his press conference after the game that the missed free throws really hurt. 10 missed free throws and we lost by 8. I know that's easy math. You can figure it out. But in particular, Pascal Siakam missing 5 free throws during this game was really crucial for problems with momentum and stuff. But besides the free throws, that's the easy ones. They also got outshot from the field and from the three-point range also. So there was a lot to make up for this team because we out-rebounded them. We had less turnovers. There were some battles that we won, but the important battles were the shooting. And free throws in particular were a huge problem for this team yesterday. It is what it is. Let's react to the game. I got the box score. I've got some other interesting stuff to talk about the game last night. Very interesting game. At one point in the first half, the lights just went out all of a sudden out of the blue. Just all the lights went down in the whole entire arena. Real fishy and weird and kind of goofy. But yeah, there was some weird stuff in this game last night. Let's talk about it. Y'all, thank you for joining me this morning, Raptor Freaks, in the comments. And let's talk about this game. Isaac Campbell's the first one in. Let's see what he's saying. Precious will get better. Scotty Barnes is continuing to grow. Koloko will develop into NBA ready. Future is strong. Growing pains for the wins. Be well, good people. Yes. These are growing pains, whatever you want to call them. In some ways last night, it really was a two-man show plus Scotty. You had the two guards of Fred and Gary, and then Scotty. Those are my 3 stars, by the way. Let's just go over the 3 stars real quick since it's kind of mentioned there by Isaac. Number 1 star is Fred for sure, 15 to 28. He continues to have a stellar play, much to the chagrin of his enemies and foes. Fred is the man, y'all. 39 points, 15 to 28 from the field, 6 to 12 from three-point range. I love the 6 3-pointers. 3 of 3 from the line, so he wasn't part of the problem at the free throw line. 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 turnover, 7-to-1 turnover ratio. Now, some people will say this, and this is the criticism people are coming after Fred with today, is that his plus minus is minus 23. And, sure, he was scoring all those points, but the other team was scoring at will against him also. And then defensively, he was a liability. That's what the Fred haters are trying to say this morning. Well, fuck all that shit. Listen, that man hit big shots and did so many good things for us that, collectively, it's a defensive effort as a team. And you can't just pinpoint one guy for what happened with the Raptors as far as defensively last night. It turned into a track meet. It turned into a marathon, a high-scoring affair. Very unlike the first time we played the Bucks this season, where we could barely score any points in the first quarter. And even up until halftime, the offense dripped at a very small crawl. Well, not that way last night at all. It was a sprint. And Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. were the big part of why we kept up in that sprint. So we can't be dissing them. I'm telling you, especially since it's Gary's birthday today, y'all. Turning 24 today, Gary Trent Jr. He is my second star, 10 of 19 from the field, 4 of 9 from three-point range. He was perfect at the free throw line, 4 of 4. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals. 28 points for Gary Trent Jr. I love the 4 steals. I love the 4 3-pointers. I love the 10 of 19 shooting. You go, Gary Trent. You have been up and down, but mostly up in the last 2 months. And it is Gary's birthday, y'all. On Jordan Bolton's Twitter, I'm looking at this awesome montage of pictures. It says, "Happy birthday, brother. Proud of you making all your dreams a reality. No matter what is thrown at you. Keep going, family. See you soon." That's Bolton for Gary. And there's this funny picture of him sticking his tongue out as a little kid. There's this picture of him like when he's younger. He looks weird with his hair shorter. I'll have to say that. And then here's this high school yearbook picture. He looks so serious. He's kind of looks funny, Gary. Happy 24th. And there's a picture of him with Jordan. Gary Trent Jr., happy birthday to you. And boy, was that an interesting incident that you went through last night. We're going to talk more about that. And don't worry, I got more on that. But yeah, it's Gary's birthday, 24 today. Happy birthday, Gary Trent Jr. Third star, Scotty Barnes, 37 minutes, 14 points, 13 rebounds, 6 of 15 from the field, 5 assists, 3 steals, -7. I would pick Siakam, but Siakam pissed me off last night because of the free throws that he missed. And not only that, he had 4 turnovers and 23 points. I'm telling you, he's not doing as well as he should be right now. In some ways, Siakam and Anunoby are slumping. They are not playing well the last 2 games. That is just like a baseline of stuff for Siakam, and he could do so much better. The free throws are the big part of it. I just need you to make your free throws, Pascal, because you're going to be the free throw merchant for the Raptors, getting to the free throw line the most out of all the Raptors. You have to make those. And 5 missed free throws last night is a huge, huge problem. And it set the tone, and I hate it. I hate it so much, Siakam. You shot 8 for 13 from the field, 23 points, and 9 rebounds. I want to like your stat line, but it's actually really bad. With the 5 missed free throws, the 4 turnovers, and the -17. So Siakam, there's something wrong going on with you right now. You're not up to the premium contributions and the winning ways because you're not playing in a winning way right now. And I think it's because partly you're not aggressive enough. And I don't know if you're tired or what's going on. OG, once again, is still looking clumsy and a little bit off right now. 2 of 13, 0 for 4, just 5 points. He was a +2, which is kind of weird. The pluses and minuses are very weird on the Raptors from last night. But yeah, not happy with OG or Siakam. Was great with the guards. And Scotty, listen, Scotty had a mixed bag. In some ways, Scotty had a tough time. He missed some key free throws also that were very important. But I'm going to give him a break because he got 6 offensive rebounds and 3 steals. That is making up for it by making more possessions for us. In fact, we had 7 steals last night, and they were all from Gary and Scotty. 4 for Gary, 3 for Scotty. So, yeah, it's just a tough game in general. And once again, the Raptors play on national television in the United States, and they stink it up and lose. These are the games that fuel the fire of the American people saying we suck. And, well, we do suck, I guess, because they see what they see on TV right now, and they're like, what do they have to like about us? Especially since we were full strength, and we lost to them without Giannis and Chris Middleton. That's horrible. Drew Holiday was really good, though. We have to give him a lot of credit. And this matchup did turn into a guards versus guards matchup by the end of it. Grayson Allen stepping up and doing big stuff for them also. I hate that so much. He's such a goon, and I hate him. And that team has got a couple of unlikable people on it, obviously. Bobby Portis is an idiot. Grayson Allen is an idiot. And, yes, Brook Lopez is an idiot. Oh my gosh, Brook Lopez is such an idiot. Wait till I read you guys what he was saying after the game. He is crazy. Isaac's also saying 8 players did not play, plus 2 more injured on the back-to-back, including no Koloko. That's a lot of minutes to handle for any 5 players. My legs were jelly after playing a single half yesterday. Cannot imagine. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, in some ways he did have to play his best players last night. I don't like that he only played 3 guys off the bench. I don't like that they only got altogether 48 minutes. So they took up like 1 player spot for the whole entire game. All the other minutes were taken up by the 5 starters. Sure, 43 minutes for Gary. That's okay. He's young. He's fine. He's 24 today. Siakam, 40 minutes. He's used to it. The minutes weren't actually that bad in some ways, Isaac. And they didn't seem like they were laboring too bad. But maybe, just maybe, he should have rested them a little bit more in the 3rd and early in the 4th so that they were absolutely fresh to make that final push to get over the hump and take the lead and finish the game with the lead and the win. That sometimes when you overplay the starters throughout the 2nd and 3rd quarter, that's the problem, Nick, is you got to really find time to buy for them to rest more so they're more fresh in the 4th quarter. And that seemed like that's part of the problem there. But I like what Isaac Campbell's saying overall as far as the future with Scotty Barnes, Precious Achiuwa, Christian Koloko is very bright for the Raptors. We've got to take the development time to pay it into the future. which is very bright. Naco the Nacho is here. I was watching Brook play thinking we could use a center like that. Then we got into the fourth quarter. Fred, Gary, and Scotty were our best players. Suns are out of the playoffs. Suns are out of the playoffs? Oh, that's interesting stuff. Yeah, Brook is funny. Yeah, we don't need a Brook Lopez. Trust me. We don't need a big, ugly, stupid goon like him. He is an idiot. All right, let me just go ahead and read this shit for you guys. This is a crazy. All right, so after the game, in the back, they interviewed Brook Lopez about what happened with Gary Trent Jr. And this is what I want to read this verbatim. This is what the Bucks sideline reporter said. This is Zora Stevenson. What had you the most frustrated? Brook saying, I can't expect the refs to get it right if they're not going to get it right during the game. Why are they going to get it right when they replay it or any of the other calls? It is what it is. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. Eric of the Athletic makes mistakes. Makes less mistakes than us probably, but they make mistakes too. They made mistakes tonight. They're human. They're fallible. Even with the help of replay, they still have a tough time. So it's cool. What do you fucking mean, you big dumb ass fucking stupid motherfucker? What do you mean they make mistakes? You made the mistake of just flipping the man's headband off his head. And like you deserve to get thrown out, and you got thrown out. And listen, there was no free throws because of the stupid technicals on OG and Jamal McGlure. Of course, Jamal McGlure once again. But listen, bro, what do you mean the refs made a mistake in that situation? Maybe they made a mistake in the way that Nick Nurse said after the game, that they probably should have called it quicker instead of letting you drag Gary right out to the first row of the game, the crowd. And they should have stopped it sooner before all that other bullshit happened, is maybe what the mistake was for the refs. All right, let's read more of this exchange because it's ridiculous. Zora Stevenson says, did you watch the rest of the game in the locker room? Brook Lopez, I did. It was fun. Basketball's a fun game. What the fuck? Are you fucking dumb? Like, is there something wrong with your intelligence, Brook Lopez? Like, are you fucking idiot? And then Joe Ingles decides to jump in on this interview, and this is what he says. I just want to know what happened to Gary Trent's headband. Why did it end up on the ground? That's Joe Ingles, his teammate, jumping in this interview. Lopez says, should I answer Joe's question? It was just driving me so nuts. So insane. I had to do something. It was talking to me. Make sure this never gets aired. You know how like a serial killer says the dog in their apartment building was talking? The headband was talking to me. This is what that fucking big dumbass goof said. He said that he pulled that headband off his head because he thought that the headband was talking to him like a serial killer hears a fucking dog talking to him in the apartment building. What the fuck is wrong with Brook Lopez? Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with him? Oh my gosh. He thought the headband was talking to him. Joe Ingles says, have you answered the question? I'm trying to get a serious answer on how this headband ended up on the ground. This is just so stupid. Brook Lopez says, I don't know. I didn't see anything. I should have gotten -2 texts, if that makes any sense. Like to go forward, like get out of jail free cards. That's how good I was. I was a good person out there. Look, I was a real good person. Apparently, Steve Trent, whatever that guy's name is, he wanted to hold me. He wanted to hold me. That's how good a person I was. What the fuck is wrong with him? There's brain damage here, obviously. First of all, let me break this down real quick. He said, I don't know. I didn't see anything happen. All right, you were locked up with Gary. Yes, he may have been holding your arms a little bit, but y'all could have gotten free of each other, but maybe it was a little power struggle. He's saying that Brook Lopez is saying he should have had -2 technicals, if that makes sense. No, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That sounds like you've had a couple too many concussions and you're a fucking idiot with brain damage is what it sounds like. And then he says, like to go forward, like get out of jail free cards. What the fuck do you think this is? Monopoly, bitch? What the fuck is wrong? You think you got get out of jail free cards? That's Bill Kennedy and Evan Scott and Brett Bernanke. This isn't Mr. Monopoly, motherfucker. You don't deserve any fucking get out of jail free cards for your bizarre behavior. When you think a fucking headband is talking to you like a serial killer, you just basically said you have serial killer voices in your head and that you are a good person. You're a real good person. Now, you know what you sound like when you say, I was a real good person? Whatever, Steve Trent, whatever. First, get his fucking name right. It's his birthday. His name's Gary Trent Jr., and he is fucking better shooter and in a lot of ways a better player in the NBA than you are, you fucking big ass, dumbass goon. He's saying, listen, I was a good person out there. Look, I was a real good person. That's how good a person I was. You know who he fucking sounds like when he says shit like that? He sounds like Donald Trump. That sounds just like what the brain damaged Donald Trump, delusional, egotistical, dumbass motherfucker would say. I was a good person in this. I was a good person. I didn't do anything wrong. Sounds like you have a problem taking ownership of being a fuck up and being a fucking asshole. You're not taking responsibility for your behavior, Brook Lopez, you fucking piece of shit. And you better get his fucking name right, Steve Trent. What the fuck is Steve Trent? What is this bullshit? Brook Lopez, you piece of crap. You have brain damage and you fucking probably need like a psychological counselor if you're hearing voices from the headband of one of our players. Oh my gosh. And like I said, seriously, when he's saying I was a good person, he sounds just like fucking Trump. Delusional and fucking crazy in an egotistical world of his own head. Ingles says, I think you're a lovely person. And Lopez says, exactly. Thank you. He must have too. That is so fucking weird and so fucking crazy. And I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Brook Lopez. I think he's taken a couple too many shots to the head and he's fucking crazy. Now, if he's acting, he's just kind of trying to be funny, whatever. You're a fucking idiot. You know you did that wrong. And the refs didn't do anything wrong. They got the right calls. In fact, I'm kind of pissed off about OG getting the call because I don't think he deserved getting attacked. But whatever. Jamal McGlure, sure. He pushed Bobby Portis. He got involved. He probably shouldn't have. But that's just Jamal McGlure. He's getting involved these days. But OG, listen, he's just standing up for Gary Trent. And that dude was swinging at him. And he's like, he's on the court already. And there ain't nothing I didn't think OG did wrong. But they counterbalance. They say, oh, there's 2 technicals, no free throws. And Brook is just thrown out. Well, I took it because I was like, that's great. Brook Lopez is out of the game. His big dumb ass who's been making threes in the third quarter. That did not bother me that he got thrown out of the game. But his after game comments do bother me because it sounds like he has brain damage. Sounds like he has brain damage and they may need to come and check him to make sure that he's all right in the brain because he sounds so stupid as fuck. And like he sounds like he has the same kind of brain damage that Donald Trump has. Let's just put it that way. So, oh man, what a crazy fucking, yeah. There you go. There's Brook Lopez's interview afterwards and reaction from me. You get that right here. Exclusive content on the Raptorfreak channel. Tom Duke is saying, good morning, onward and upward Raptors. Happy 24th birthday to Gary Trent Jr. That's right. His name is Gary, not Steve, motherfucker. Let's go get that Lopez. Yes, Brook Lopez. You fucking idiot. Oh my gosh. So crazy. So crazy. All right, let's see. Monique is here. Good to see Superfan Monique Lawrence. Good morning, everyone. Great effort by Fred. Now he needs help. OG in a mini slump. Brook Lopez is a dirty third quarter woes yet again. Yeah, Brook Lopez is very dirty, and he deserved to get thrown out. I don't understand why he thinks he's a good person. Gary did not want to hug you. That was just like, listen, first of all, how much smaller is Gary Trent than you? You know, seriously, you're probably a lot stronger than him. You probably could have gotten out of that in some sort of way. It's not like he was totally locking you up. It just seemed like you were caught in the moment. Maybe you were very entranced by his headband and you were just like, you wanted to slow dance with it or something like that. And then you threw it off his head and then boom, as soon as you do something like that, yeah, that's a technical. And then the further stuff, you were the antagonizer the whole time. In fact, birthday boy, Mr. Gary Trent Jr. today, he looked so cool as a cucumber. Dealing with your big, dumb Neanderthal ass with your fucking crazy ass voices in your head, thinking the headband's talking to you. Yeah, he didn't take the bait. In fact, that's why they didn't give him nothing. They didn't give him any kind of like a punishment in that whole situation because he handled it very well with your deranged, dropped on your head ass with the fucking way you're thinking. What the fuck is wrong with you, Brook Lopez? Seriously, what was that? That was so weird and so crazy. And yeah, you deserve to get thrown out. It was crazy. Yeah, third quarter woes, different woes at different times, Monique. Like we go dry for scoring once again at different bad times. You know, the shooting is really bad. It's comical in some ways. Like we had so many offensive rebounds and try to put back that they just would not go in. We're right there. Chris Boucher tried like 3 or 4 times to put this ball in one possession and just could not get it to drop. So it's crazy how comical and bad our shooting is at times. Thank God for Fred. Thank God for Gary. Thank God for Scotty down low. You know, Pascal, get your shit together and figure it out, man, because I feel like you're just going through the motions, but you're not really smart about how you're trying to go get your offense. I know that they come at you extra special treatment from the defense of the other side, but still, bro, you got to figure this out because you're not looking right on offense in some ways. And then OG, oh man, if you just play good defense and don't worry about doing other stuff, it's fine. But man, you're looking ugly out there. You just look a step slow, a little clumsy, and just not getting the loose balls as quick as the other team. And I don't get that. Like, why are you so slow right now, OG? What's going on with you? Lion Hunter's here. Good morning to Lion Hunter. Why am I reading Fred slander this morning? Because of a couple of drives to the rim in the final few minutes. Hang on, it jumped. All right, you guys really fill it up. I'm going to make sure I get to everybody. Why am I reading Fred slander this morning? Because of a couple of drives to the rim in the final few minutes. We lost this game because of horrendous perimeter defense. Stop blaming Fred. Jesus. Well, this is the thing. This is what Nick said. They went on little mini streaks of threes all of a sudden, a barrage of like 2 or 3 threes, and then boom. And we had to withstand those threes and maybe even get our little mini barrages of threes also to respond to it. We didn't do that. There were a couple of times, especially that late one where they got 3 threes in a row and went on 9-point run. That really hurt us, but we did come back a little bit. But it was just a little too late. Just like the announcer said, that fuckface that was announcing the game on TNT. Fuck you, American announcer. You're so biased. You show up. We show up and we see the pregame on TNT, and there's 2 of the announcers wearing green. And yeah, we're wearing green. But Shaq had the best fucking joke at halftime. He said, yeah, y'all's favorite player is Danny Green. And his timing and the way he said it was so fucking perfect. And I loved it. Shaq, you trolled the shit out of them. Those idiots. I really like Jamal Crawford in that spot and his insight and the way he does the commentary in the halftime in the pregame show. But I can't stand Candace Parker. I can't stand that little whatchamacallit, looks like fucking the kid that makes movies. I don't even remember his name. The fat guy who was in like Superbad. That dude looks like that guy from Superbad. He's annoying with his stupid little kid shoes that he was wearing. But Shaq was cool. I liked Shaq and Jamal Crawford last night on the pregame and the halftime. And Shaq with that Danny Green joke was perfect timing. Good job. And yeah, Homer ass fucking like announcers talking shit about like, you know, Milwaukee, obviously talking up Milwaukee and talking us down. But they did have a nice pregame interview with Taylor Rooks and Pascal Siakam eating Cameroonian food here in Toronto. That was a nice little segment, a little bit of showing about Siakam's background and history for the U.S. fans and the national television media down there. And that's really, really good. Get Siakam's story out there, get him more respect and get him more cred with U.S. fans on national TV on TNT. So good stuff with that. So there were some things I liked about it. Stan Van Gundy wasn't too bad. He was pretty fair for the most part as the color guy, but that play-by-play guy, he can eat a dick. The guy who was calling the game for TNT, he can go eat a dick. He's a piece of crap. And so are the hosts and Candace Partner from the pregame. Otherwise, I like Jamal Crawford and Shaq. Shaq was okay because he had that one joke that was so hilarious. But of course, their commentary about Pascal and stuff is hilarious. It's like Shaq's talking about Kawhi when he talks about Pascal, and then Candace Parker has to bring up Siakam's problems with the bubble and his injury. She thinks he has injury problems since the championship, that he's always hurt, is what she said. You're so full of shit, Candace Parker. Anyway. So yeah, holy crap. But yeah, okay, let me read what with what Lion Hunter's saying here about the Fred slander. These people are not going to be happy no matter what. They're going to come after him no matter what, all kinds of different ways. And it is what it is. So, you know, we're going to continue to be Fred stans here, positive Raptor fans, standing up for the team, especially Fred in these times of trouble where people are coming after him so much. Whatever. He's not going to make any of these people. Oh, these people just hate him. And that's just what it is. Somebody characterized it on Twitter. At this point, it's like mob mentality, and it's stupid. And we ain't in that mob. We're in the mob of love and positivity and standing beside Fred, because it's just ridiculous. You're right, Lion Hunter. Stop blaming Fred, people. You're idiots. The people that talk down Fred right now, you're fucking dumbasses. You can't see what he's done in the last 48 hours in 2 games. In 2 games, one of them was a win and one of them wasn't. One of them was a win on the road in overtime. Yeah. So you guys are idiots who are coming after Fred right now. You really are. If anybody needs to be criticized this morning, it's OG and Pascal. Trust me. Those are the 2 guys that are not playing with the right energy right now. Monique saying Gary Trent Jr. and Fred combined for 67 points. Keep pushing through, guys. Proud regardless. Yes, Monique. I love that. Yeah, that's great production. But once again, I want more balance throughout the team. This is the problem. You're not going to play as many people for the game, Nick. And then also you're going to have the starters play way too much. And then boom, they have to take like that much of the scoring load, just 2 guys. No, we need more balance. We need more points from OG. We need Pascal to step up a little bit better. I mean, Scotty could have made a couple more shots and more points in different ways, whether it's at the free throw line or just some of the shots going in a little bit easier. Yeah. Listen, if they're not going to play the bench, you're going to need 20 points from all 5 of the starters, especially when, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to score 130 points. And that was the thing, that 30 points per quarter thing, Mark, that I'm saying that, we don't play good defense if the other team's averaging 30 points a quarter. That's still in effect. And they very much were scoring like crazy, and we weren't stopping them. That's no good. We got to get some defensive stops and hold teams to below 120 points at least. Maybe 100 points. It used to be we want to hold teams under 100 points just a couple of years ago. Now it's like I want them to just hold teams under 120 points if they can. That's how crazy the offense is growing in the NBA right now. It was just a couple years ago that the watermark was 100 and we didn't want anybody scoring over 100. Well, that's not even realistic at this point. The NBA teams should score over 100. And it now is trying to keep that bottle on that genie for under 110. That would be good. That'd be great. 120? Yes, please. At least 120. Oh my gosh. Hugh is here. Good to see Hugh. And thank you for the comments yesterday after the stream. You simply will not win a game where the other team shoots 50, 50, 90 with 23s. Absurd defense by the Raptors. Yeah, let's look at the team stats real quick since Hugh has brought it up. They shot 54% from the field. They made the same exact amount of field goals as us on 15 less shots. They took 15 less shots and still made 46 field goals just like us. And not only that, 6 more of those shots that they made were 3-pointers. So that's an extra 6 points that have to make up there. But we did get way more free throw attempts than them, but we still managed to make less free throws than them. That we got 27 attempts, they got 21. They made 19 free throws, we made 17 because we shot 63% at the free throw line, and they shot 91%. See, that's a big problem. Every single one of these percentages, field goal, three-pointer, and free throw, are won by the Bucks, and not even really close in some ways. These are very big margins between 54% and 46% for field goal, 49% at 3 for 37 for 3 for the Raptors, 91% at the free throw line for the Bucks, 63% for the Raptors at the free throw line. Yeah, you ain't gonna win when you get outshot on all 3 categories. You can out rebound them by 8. You can get less turnovers. You can cause more steals and still lose and win the points in the paint even to boot. And that's just how it went down. It is what it is. The defense was not good, but you have to credit Milwaukee for having a very good offense. And, Drew Holiday was just special last night. He really did have his career game again. It seems like he has a career game against us once a year. It was like last year he had his career game against us. 37 points, a plus 22, 16 to 26 from the field, 5 of 10 at the three-point line, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Just a fantastic game by Holiday. But in a lot of ways, he was outplayed by Fred. So it's like he had his career night, and Fred still beat him and outplayed him in some ways last night. Yeah, it's crazy. No, Fred will never do good enough for certain people. He just won't, especially at this point. Randolph Phillips is here. Blessings, beloved Raptor freaks, most informative game. We should have won last night's game convincingly. We needed to use more bench players. Time to give opportunity to the young guys. I love that sentiment, Randolph Phillips. And let's, you know what? Let's call Nick and see what he says about this. Hello, Nick. Yeah. Hey, it's the Raptorfreak crew. Yeah, we call you after every game. Yeah, we're trying to just find out some stuff. My friend Randolph Phillips, he's a great Raptor freak. Always has good stuff to say, and love and blessings for everyone. He has love and blessings for you. He wants to know why you're not using the bench more in these situations. This was a back to back. Both teams have played, and in some ways, the other teams played like 10 or 11 guys, and we only played 8. And it seemed like there could have been some opportunities to spread out the minutes more so that we have more freshness throughout the whole game, especially in the last couple minutes of the game. If you give a little bit more minutes to the other guys, and like, I don't know, Jeff Doughton Jr., I don't know, Ken Burge, those are the guys I'd like to see play. Maybe Joe Wesikamp, I don't know. Have you thought about that? I know you get this question all the time. It's just that we feel like this is you need to do this just to allow the team to be fresher at the end of the game and give more opportunity to everybody. Listen, there's a lot of scoring in this league at this point. I know you know this, but it seems like to have enough guns in the gun battle, you're going to have to play more guns and just be able to have more guys contribute to the overall point total instead of we have like 2.5 guys that are really, really playing really well game in, game out. We need like 5 or 6 or 7 guys playing at a high level like these other teams lately. So this is what I feel. All right. I know you had a long travel yesterday and you're still on the road. I know. All right. Well, listen, you guys have a good birthday party for Gary today in Minnesota. It's great that he gets to be home for his birthday. Yes. I hope you guys all have a good time and have some cake. All right, Nick. Well, good luck and beat the Timberwolves tomorrow, please. All right. All the best. Be great. Just win, baby. Yeah. All right. Bye. Okay. All right. There you go. Calling Nick Nurse. Just saying, hey, on the day after a game, seeing what's up. Randolph, blessings always from Randolph Phillips and to you and the Phillips family also. Denal saying, fact is, when Fred plays hero ball, we play worse as a team. Second quarter went off. We played great. He can't take 28 shots. Needs to play more off ball. Love Fred, but check history. We usually lose like this. It's a dual-edged sword. Look, he's getting the blame or the credit, whether we win or lose. And that's a tough responsibility to take. And part of the problem we've had in recent months is that we don't have the guy willing to take that responsibility and fall on the sword just in case we lose. Sometimes Siakam does. He'll step up and do that himself. But more often than not, it's been Fred. Eventually, it'll be Scotty more and more. But yeah, listen, I understand y'all saying these things, and his plus minus does show that he is a defensive liability in some ways. And we saw it with our own 2 eyes. You see Drew Holiday go around him and do whatever the fuck he wants. I get what y'all are saying. But you have to also realize there's 2 ends of the court, and he's so important on the offensive end of the court for us in certain ways that we cannot not play him because we need him for a certain level of quality and just consistency in some ways. There is definitely a balance that needs to be found with this. And I do agree. I mean, when we see the positionless lineup come out there, like when it's Chris, Precious, OG, Scotty, and Pascal, those are crazy lineups. And they have a lot of good things happening with them. I don't know. It's still a really weird kind of balance we need to find. And maybe there was a little too heavy on the Fred last night. But in some ways, we needed him just to stay in the game offensively. In a very high octane, high scoring offensive game, we needed Fred to be that guy taking that many shots, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's tough. G's saying, why did Nurse not have OG on Drew? I don't understand that either. OG, like I said, OG's got weird energy right now. He's not exactly right. There's something going on with him. G's saying that plus minus is so deceiving. Players on the perimeter and guarding guards or the best player on the other team usually have a lower minus. OG and Scotty have had minus 20 games. That doesn't mean much. Yeah, some of it's just like dumb luck when you happen to be out on the court when runs happen to occur and stuff like that. I mean, I understand that. But in some ways, it is indicative of like you're out there on the court. What is the impact in some ways? I mean, listen, with Christian having the highest plus minus on our team is very evident why. It's because he's such a threat to block and play good defense down low as far as just like being a force or a presence. That, yeah, it's still a valid stat, but in some ways you can't control it for exactly what is directly responsible for why that plus or minus is so much of a minus. That it could actually just be dumb luck that you got inserted in the game and the other team just happened to get really hot in that little bit of time while you were on the court. So it isn't, you're right. I'm going to go with G on this, that sometimes you can't really look at the plus minus and really read into it too much. But there is a little bit of a metric to it that does tell you something also. It can't mean that, yeah, you're also really kicking ass too. And that may be part of it too. Nako's saying he wasn't the only one, but Fred did make some dumb fouls. Yeah, there were some dumb fouling people when they're taking 3-point shots. That one foul on Joe Ingles was bullshit. The one that Gary got, that was not a foul. And Joe kind of oversold it. There was a couple of plays like that for sure, where we put them on the line for 3 free throws, and that was bullshit. I hated those. I hated those so much. And I agree that was a problem. G saying, how many bunnies did they miss at the net? Free throws. And why did Fred get 9 rebounds amongst a bunch of tall players? My disappointment lies with the lack of hustle, boxing out, and fundamentals. See, when G's being critical and when he's talking in this kind of way, I really listen, because G's very positive Raptor fan, and these are valid concerns. There are fundamental things that we're not doing very well. I mean, Milwaukee's a very tough team for rebounding, obviously, with Lopez and Portis, but we actually out-rebounded them last night. So there were some things that I really liked about all that, but it's true. There's lapses of judgment, and maybe there's just like lapses of getting to the ball in loose ball situations sometimes. They're asking so much of these guys. They can't be absolutely perfect. And there's certain things that are falling through the cracks for sure in how they're playing right now and not getting everything done all at once. That's the thing. Leo said it a couple times in the last 2 years. The Raptors, the way they're made on their roster and the way they play, they have a very, very thin margin for error. They have to be perfect to win. And if they're not playing perfect as possible, like they did last year, they will not win overall. They have to be that good. And they can't have guys that aren't doing well. They have to all show up and all do good. That's part of our strength, is that we have a lot of good players that are not superstars completely, but are like just below the realm of superstars. But we have more of them. And in some ways, we have more talent than other teams. It's just that we need all of those guys to show up and contribute. Because like 2 of them may add up to 1 Giannis or something like that. That's what I'm saying. Or, that's part of the problem, is if we only have 2 or 3 of those guys show up on any given night, that's not enough water to put in the bucket and win. We have to have all of them playing out of their minds. And the other thing is, these guys have to play with roles. The 2 games we've lost recently, Atlanta and Milwaukee, both those teams had benches with all kinds of different role players coming in and doing different jobs that all helped to get them towards a win. And part of the problem is we don't have enough role players off the bench. Well, we don't play a bench. We don't get this. Sure, we can have Precious do this. Chris has obviously got his role, and he's doing it really well. But we're really searching for more role players off the bench that we can use in certain roles for winning. Because other teams have all kinds of role players that are coming in and doing amazing stuff. Let's look at the Bucks team last night. You got the role playing off the bench. Nuara, he does interesting things. You got George Hill as a great backup point guard. Obviously, Joe Ingles has a very specific role when he comes off the bench and comes in the game. He was fantastic last night. 15 points, 4 of 5 from the field. He hit 2 threes, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 block, a +4. He had some good role-playing kind of stuff. Even the stuff that Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, these guys are all playing roles when they're involved. In fact, they're not even as big as superstars as the 5 starters for us. In some ways, that's the thing we've got to look at, is what are the roles of our guys and how do they add up to winning collectively on any given night? And in some ways, it's too ambiguous still. And nobody's stepping up to fill some of the roles that are very important. So, yeah, it's tough. I think that there's a hustle problem from time to time, but it's not on any overall thing. They have really good hustle and trying all over. It's just in certain moments they lack the hustle in very important key times. And it's usually on 50-50 balls I'm seeing right now. The ball's in the middle of no man's land, and it could go to either one of us, and we just need to be the quicker one aggressively to go get it. And the other team's beating us to go get it. And that's happened in the last few games. Even with New York, it was happening. We still won. Let's see. Mike's here. Good to see Logical Raptors fanatics. Salute the real ones. Project Truth always. Tough one. Lessons to be learned. Yeah. This tough lessons. It is what it is. It's Milwaukee. It's one of the top 5 teams in the league. Even without their 2 all-stars, they're still a very good team. Very well coached. And they have a game plan. And they have certain things figured out that we don't have figured out on our roster. And that's too bad. It's just how it is. Random Gamer saying, man, I needed you guys to win this. Sixers would be in the 2nd seed right now. Instead, we're in the 3rd. I need the Bucks to lose, man. Sorry, Sixers fan, that we couldn't come through for you last night. We for damn sure tried, and we wanted it. Trust me, we really wanted it. And we should have gotten it because Giannis wasn't there. But it didn't happen, unfortunately. We're disappointed about it. But yeah, it's too bad for you guys. I'm sorry, Sixers, that we couldn't help you guys get in up higher in the standings right now. Good to see you, though, Random Gamer. Hugh is saying Siakam goes passive when Fred is cooking. Yeah, I don't know if it's that because they've been able. It's weird. That is kind of true, though. In the history of them, it seems like it's either one of them or are going that night. And it's not so often that they're both together going off. I don't know. That's tough to say. I don't want to make any sweeping judgments in some ways. But, it does seem like they're not always going off at the same time. It's like one or the other. Monique's saying OG needs to make 300 shots, free throws. Everyone else, free throws. Everyone, yes. Okay, I like that, Monique. Cool Cat saying, after this game, I'm ready to see the changes from Masai and Bobby, build around Pascal, OG, Scotty moving forward. So, yeah, she's disregarding the guards and what they did last night and just wants to build around those 3 guys. I'm still not throwing my hands up. I'm going to be crazy and stubborn. I'm going to be like, no, we're not tanking. No, we don't want to do this. We don't even want to make a trade. Let's just keep playing and just be crazy and just keep going. It's all right. We win one, lose one. We win one, lose one. It is what it is. We can't control it. But yeah, it's frustrating, sure. But listen, in some ways, it's a back-to-back. It was on TNT. They did not want us to win. And it was not that it was a long shot. I felt like we had a really good chance to win this game. It's just if we don't play, like I said, the margin of error is so slight. We cannot be this bad at the free throw line. We cannot be this bad shooting wise. We cannot be this bad effort wise and defensive wise and expect to win. We're not going to win in the league right now with that kind of effort and stuff like that. Teams that are in different places, they can loaf and do different things and still win games, but not us. We're in a place where we have to be absolutely perfect to win games right now. Denal saying, I'm not with all the Fred hate nor the blind support. Have to point things out. His passes aren't great a lot of the time. Pascal, I don't know if he's upset knowing Fred may go. That mixed unit played well. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm trying to straddle both sides of it too, but I know that the Fred hate is way out of control and is wrong. I do know that. And in some ways, you got to counterbalance supporting him even more, even if you kind of want to be critical of him to a degree. But like I said, I don't see any reason to be critical of him last night or against New York. It doesn't make any sense. He was our leading scorer, and in the other game, he led us to victory. He could have easily led us to victory last night if we had a couple of breaks go our way. And I can't blame the refs. I can't blame anybody except for us and not shooting well. And that is the biggest problem right there. I don't know. His passes are mixed bag. I really like the way he's playing off of Scott right now. Those two playing off each other is really smart, and it's gold for the future. We need to keep mining it and getting more of that gold from the synergy between Freddie and Scotty because it's really good. It really is. And these guys are interchangeable to a degree in the 2-man game with the 2 of them. So I don't know. I'm not going to diss Fred's passing because his passing is actually really good. So I can't get behind that. And I don't know about Pascal. I don't know what's going on with Siakam. Siakam's such a weird, aloof guy. He really does what he does every day the same way. It could be that he just goes through natural biorhythms of being a little down as a player. And that may be also what's going on with OG also at the same time. Is that there's just a way of biometrics, your body rhythm, And sometimes it's a little, and it goes, and then it comes back up. There's a little bit of that. And that's why it's hard to be consistent in the NBA, because you're not going to feel the same way every single day, or maybe, it could be different things that are going on right now. I do like the mixed unit with the bench and the starters. Any kind of units that are mixing up Coloco with starters, or a Juancho, Precious, and Chris is really good. And once again, they brought in DX first, Chris and Precious as the first guys off the bench. And I just love seeing those guys come in. I want entrance music for them. Like, seriously, at Scotiabank Arena, when Precious and Chris come in, can you play the Degeneration X theme from now on in game ops? Because I think that would get the crowd really hyped, and it would also get them hyped, because it's what they're doing right now. Degeneration X, baby. Play that theme in game ops for home games in the future. Let's see. G saying they're playing small ball without shooters. Either they need a good big or shooters. This is in between, to me, is the real issue. I mean, I get what you're kind of saying. Yeah, we in some ways we are playing small ball. I mean, that's weird. Milwaukee's got really giant players that kind of make us look like we're small ball, but against a lot of teams, we don't look like we're playing small ball. But in some ways, yeah, I get what you're saying with this. And we don't have enough good shooters to be playing a small ball style of game. That makes sense, G, what you're saying. I don't know. We're going to have to figure this all out. Our roster build in some ways is very interesting. And the way they described it, the TNT crew, talking about the 6'9" vision, they were honestly saying that we're ahead and we're the future of the NBA, but we're still figuring it out. We're wrinkling out all the details and figuring out what works and what doesn't, and trying to get it to work more consistently, the Vision 6'9" stuff. But they do recognize the national television in the States on TNT that is the future and that we're the cutting edge. They actually said that last night, which was very interesting. All right, let's keep going. Cowboys saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. How did OG get a technical? What the fuck? Well, technically, what OG did was he started grabbing, and he grabbed on the other player. He got mad when Gary got pushed like that, and he was taken up to stand up for Gary. And Gary was very passive and just kind of went away, and just like, he was perfect. And it's real testament to him as a young man turning 24 today. He was 23 yesterday when that happened. Now he's 24 today. But OG let his temper. He lost his temper for a second. And he got a little chippy with his hands and pushing. And I know maybe it didn't really totally warrant it, but they're being touchy about this shit. And they want to make sure that people understand what's good and what isn't. Now, we did a really good job keeping our guys on the bench. That could have been a huge fail if these guys came off the bench and got involved. The only thing was Jamal McGlure coming off the bench, and the only reason why he got a technical is he grabbed Portis. He started pushing Portis around a little bit, but and he shouldn't have done that. So I really don't have a problem with the way they called the technicals and the way it all came out. It was actually exactly right. And it was good because we got to see Lopez get ejected. But yeah, it was a little weird, Cowboy. And you're maybe like, why did OG get a tech? Well, he did deserve it. He kind of was instigating it further a little bit with his hands and getting pushy. He shoved some people in there. Unpopular Raptors here once again. Good to see unpopular Raptors. So OG gets 5 points, but was +3. Yeah, Fred had 39 points, was -23. Raptors now 0-3 this year when Fred gets 39 points. Is that actually a true stat? I mean, he had a lot of points against New York the night before, and we won that game. I mean, listen. If your agenda is to come at Fred and try and slight him in this kind of way, I could get on OG just as much as Fred for this. And honestly, I'm not going to get on Fred because in some ways, manufacturing the points is tough because it's harder in some ways to get that amount of points and keeping going with trying to keep up with the Milwaukee Bucks. So yeah, I'm not going to give a lot of cred to what you're saying here because we've already talked about this plus minus and how it can look good and bad in certain ways. And it's not always a really good standard to measure things by. I think that the plus is really good to look at because you can look at if it's a very high plus for that guy, that usually means they had something to do with that run and them winning. And that's good. But if a very, very low plus minus, yeah, you can probably look into that too. And in this case, yeah, Fred has the lowest plus minus on our team from last night. But still, listen, it's not the best metric to judge everything and end all be all and stuff like that. I still say Freddie getting 39 points in 37 minutes is huge. That's good point production, and we needed it. We're not getting anywhere close to winning this game without it. So you got to look at it both ways. Basketball Rewind saying, Lex, what happened to your lighting? We let another team put 50, 40, 90 again. Also, Bush League Brook was being goofy, trying to pick on Gary Trent Jr. So dumb. Reffing was bad at that moment. Okay, I'm going to dissect everything Van Hoot has to say here. My lighting is natural. I don't turn on the light in here. This is all the light from outside. So if it gets brighter, it's because it's getting brighter outside. I don't have one of these circle lamps or anything like that. I could turn the lights on in this room, but I kind of like the natural lighting. I don't know. Maybe I should get better production by just getting one of those circle lights and it'll be the same all the time. But no, sometimes I like to have it dark a little bit. In fact, the lighting sometimes is chosen to reflect the feelings. So it's a little bit dark this morning because we lost last night. So yeah, it's kind of like that. But yeah, it's getting brighter out, so it may be a little bit more lit up at this point. Yeah, I don't like the way they shot on us. This is a really good indicator of poor defense when the other team shoots such good percentages. And yeah, those are not acceptable good percentages, especially when Chris Middleton's not playing, or Giannis actually hurts those percentages in some ways. But Chris would help him. Also, Bush League Brook was being goofy. Yeah, I hope you saw my reenactment of Brook Lopez's interview after the game earlier in the stream. If not, go watch from the beginning. I'd read all the stupid ass shit that he was saying. He thought that Gary's headband was talking to him, like a serial killer hears a dog's voice, talking to him to kill people. So yeah, Brook Lopez has been dropped on his head. He has probably brain damage, and he may need to be checked out. He may very, very well need to be checked out. Seriously, I don't know if the reffing was dumb at that moment because they didn't stop it sooner. But otherwise, I think the aftermath, maybe they took too long watching cartoons and just sitting there watching too long, kind of deads the game, messes up the pace. Sure, but I think they got the calls right, and they did get it all figured out in the right way. It was funny. Bernanke had the list, he had the pen and the list, and he's writing down every little part of what is going on. I'm like, okay, there's a lot happening. Once I saw him get the pen and the pad, I was like, okay, Raptors are getting technicals also, because it'd be real easy. It was like, okay, no, just throw Lopez out, give him double tag and throw him out. That they don't need to write that down. They can just remember that. Well, when they got the pen out and they start writing on the pad, I'm like, okay, we're getting some stuff too, is what that meant to me. And it's funny that they had to write the whole laundry list, and then Bill Kennedy had to read it. And thank goodness Brett Bernanke is not a doctor; he's a lawyer, because you could read his handwriting. But yeah, it was a crazy moment, and once again, a moment in Raptor history. We're gonna always remember the night Brook Lopez thought that Gary Trent Jr.'s headband was talking to him. Yeah, that's so stupid. G saying, I hope Lopez gets fined just for being a loon. Laugh out loud. I don't know if this is some goofiness. Like, I know he likes to interact with the mascots, and he has all kinds of stupid ass shit. I don't know. I hate the Lopez brothers. I always have hated them. And like in some ways, him, he acts like he's a victim when he's the biggest guy on the court. What are you throwing around? A guy who's like half your weight and almost a foot shorter than you, half foot shorter than you. That's stupid. You should not be like tossing people around like that. And, you just look like a big bully. Yeah. Fiercey saying, good morning, fam. Disappointing loss yesterday. I keep thinking we could have won. The other teams literally rack up 3-pointers early in the game, knowing we cannot keep up. It's tough. Listen, you leave a Bucks shooter open, they're going to make it. They're money. And that's the thing. We need guys like that. Like where we just like bomb threes, so confident, good threes all the time. And that sucks. I wish we had more of that on our team, because like they really make you pay. And like you make any kind of like leaving them open or any kind of thing, they make you pay. And that's a big reason why Milwaukee's good, is they're making people pay at the 3-point line. If they leave them open, they are not missing. They make you pay, and it sucks. I feel like we could have won this game in a couple different ways. There were runs we needed to make late in the game, but we just didn't. And obviously, free throws accumulated over the game where we would have made them. That would have helped the difference, obviously, too. 5 missed free throws, Siakam. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? And then 3 by Scotty. That's 8 missed free throws by 2 guys. It's really bad. I really didn't like it. Hugh is saying there was no reason for Masai to give Joe another 10-day contract. He won't even get an opportunity to play. If I remember, Amani Brooks got a 10-day and actually got a spot because he got minutes. Well, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. In some ways, he is insurance. In some ways, maybe he's just like a presence or energy on the bench to help with more shooting confidence. As I said, he doesn't necessarily have to play in some ways to rub off on the team and help them with their shooting in some ways. I don't know. I hope he does get a chance, and he should get a chance. But there's no guarantees. We'll see what happens. It's like every night it's a different thing. But Nick, it does seem like he's ratcheting up who gets to play again and only playing 8 guys last night. It's crazy. I think Wesikamp deserves a chance for sure. Rick Glazer's here. Don't mess with Rick. He's got connections. I wish the Raptors still had an Oakley or a Antonio Davis type player to set the tone. Brook Lopez wouldn't be so tough with Oakley running up on him. A part of me wanted to take a bat to his knees. Wow. All right. Well, Rick has friends that probably could find Brook Lopez somewhere with a bat. And I wouldn't be upset about that with what happened last night, for sure. The crazy ass motherfucker. We may be stopping a future crime because it sounds like Brook Lopez is a serial killer and that he may need some psychological evaluation. He may be somebody like the Joker, needs to go to Arkham and put him in like the mental prison or something like that because he sounds fucking crazy with what he was saying afterwards. Even if you're goofing around and you think you're funny, well, we all think you're psycho and you have brain damage at this point, Brook Lopez. I would love to have another enforcer type player on this team. But what if I told you we might already have one? It's just that he's not totally mature yet. And that may be Scotty Barnes. Who knows? It could be Precious. It could be O.G. even more. O.G. was kind of that guy last night. He was kind of stepping into that whole situation like Serge Ibaka might have, even though he's on the Bucks now. Serge really was that last type of player like that for us. But I think that some of these young guys, they just got to get a little older. They may very, very well turn into these guys themselves. Scotty could be this guy. Precious looks a lot like one of these guys. And it could be OG. OG may be the soonest to become this guy because he was showing it last night. Cool Cat saying, I prefer our style of play, moving the ball around. We can't have OG working hard on defense and not setting him up for easy shots as a reward feed. Miss Kyle, point guard, giving touches to everyone. Yeah, I like it too when they move the ball around way more too. And the assist numbers last night for the Raptors, what did they do? They got 20 assists. That's 5 less than I'd like, and I'd like to see them sharing the ball more, moving it across side to side, Scotty. All the different ways you guys are doing things, give and goes, pick and rolls, whatever. More and more moving the ball around is always good. I don't know about that comment about OG though, Cool Cat. He's the kind of guy, he can have just a defensive game. If he only scores 6 points, that doesn't bug me. It's just when he shoots so much and he only scores 6 points. Like if he only shot like 3 or 4 shots and got 6 points, but he shot like 2 for like 12 or something like that, or really, really bad percentage. He shot 2 for 13. Yeah, and he missed all 4 of his 3-pointers. We're counting on him to make those threes, and when he doesn't make those threes, that's a bad game. So he got the opportunities. It's just he didn't make them. So it's not like he's working hard on defense and he's not getting shots. But even in that situation, he doesn't care if he's making offense. In fact, sometimes it's better for him to just concentrate on the defense, shut down the best possible player on the other team, and do things like that. He may have played better last night if Giannis had been playing, honestly. In some ways, he might have gotten up more for the game, took it a lot more dialed in. And seriously, if he had to deal with Antetokounmpo, and in some ways, maybe not having Giannis there hurt us because OG didn't have as much intensity to his game because he knew it's a very tough challenge. Let's see. Forgetful saying, good morning to all. Been thinking that some aspiring PhD candidate in psychology might do well investigating the phenomenon of star hate. It's not as depraved as racism or misogyny, but it's curious. Very interesting. Forgetful is such a character. One moment he's talking about sorcery and the mystic arts, and now he's talking about the social sciences and psychology. And yeah, this mob mentality against Fred, the way our fan nation's turned on him is stupid. And it's pissing me off. And this is true. This is stuff that we would talk about in my grad school because I did sociology. And there was a big part of like social psychology, psychology of big groups, and why they get into that and how they reinforce each other's ways they think. It's very MAGA kind of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, you believe what I believe, so now we really reinforce it, even though it's dipshit, dumbass, fucking shit that you believe. But you have a collective of a lot of people that believe it together, and then boom, it's a problem. And some people would say, well, what is the Raptorfreak called? Well, listen, I will tell you the truth. We are just like MAGA in a way. Sure, we're delusional to a degree, but we're delusional for the positivity of the Raptors to be as good as possible. And there is a connection to delusion to a degree with that, because in reality, sometimes the Raptors just aren't very good. But the way that this works with the Raptorfreak cult works the very same way with the MAGA cult. And in some ways, we're a good example of a bad example of it. And that's what I like to show people, to teach them about how echo chambers and schools of thought can really become ensconced and put in one place. We are an example of that to a degree, but we're a positive example of it for a good cause, that not hurting people. But that's a really good example to show people this. But I love what you're saying, Forgetful. And I think you're right that there are studies on, maybe there are good studies out there on fan nations and how they turn on players and what happens with all that interaction and things like that. Listen, there's enough of us that are still with Fred. Then sure, go ahead and hate him, Fred haters, whatever. And if he leaves, you guys don't deserve to root for him or honor him as a Raptor great later on, because y'all turned on him and we're part of the problem. I'll stand with Fred and trust and believe and love him as one of the greatest Raptors ever and celebrate him for the rest of his life. You guys go ahead, stab him in the back, put that knife deep in there, and yeah, go ahead and stand on that side. Just later on, when we honor him, when we maybe possibly retire his number in our rafters, I don't want to see any of y'all come around and celebrate it, because y'all don't deserve to, because y'all turned your backs on him and you stabbed him in the back. And I ain't that kind of guy and stuff like that. Monique saying both Lopez brothers are dumb. Yeah, I kind of like the one with the longer hair now because of the stupid ass shit that Brook did last night. Sideshow Bob's my favorite now. Robin Lopez for Cleveland. G saying Lopez pulled Gary into him by his jersey. That's why they locked up. Yeah, they look very close. And it's like Brook thought he wanted him to dance, or he wanted to hold him close because he liked him. It's a stupid ass, dumbass. I don't know what was going on there. I just commend Gary Trent Jr. for being very smart, being very professional, being very mature, much more mature than an older vet that's been in the league a lot longer than Brook Lopez. It's like Gary Trent was a guy who was acting like he was in his 30s, and Brook Lopez looked like he was 23 last night. Well, happy birthday, Gary Trent. You're a mature young man who was the better man and did the right thing in that situation. Thank you, Gary. Yes. Denal saying Fred VanVleet just isn't a leader like Kyle. He isn't the replacement the team needed. He was his best when he was off ball during 1920. He's fantastic, but he's playing like a number one, and he's not. I mean, I don't know how to suss all this out. I mean, some of these are just labels. They just need to go out there and play and just do what they do, and hopefully it adds up to win. Now, Fred's going to play the style that he plays. Scotty's going to play the style that he plays. Pascal's going to play the style that they play. And hopefully it all adds up to something that wins the game. And I don't know. I mean, he's a leader, not exactly like Kyle, but in some ways he's our best thing that's closest to Kyle at this point. I mean, in some ways. I mean, listen, there's some things about Kyle that weren't good that Fred's better for, and vice versa. I'll admit that. Yeah, there's both things. I mean, there were some things that Kyle was very bad for us that Fred's much better for. And that's referee talking to and having good relations with the referees. We have way better calls since Kyle left. And they are actually calling good stuff for us. So, and I think that has a huge part to do with Fred. I mean, with Kyle and Fred being in charge now. So there's trade-offs both ways. Nako saying, I think you could argue that based on what Brook did, they should have taken away Drew's points at the team. What do you mean, taking Drew's points away? I don't exactly get that. They may be not totally, they're not interconnected. I don't know. You wanted them to punish them more? Well, in some ways, maybe we shouldn't have gotten the text, and we should have gotten 2 shots, and Brook should have just been ejected. That may have been fair too. Blackhawk saying OG had to get the tech in order to put the double tech on Lopez, so it's all good. Yeah. Yeah, they needed to suss it all out. And I love that when they started saying, oh, there's going to be 2 calls on Lopez. I was like, yeah, he's tossed. He's tossed. As soon as they started saying there's going to be 2 calls on Lopez, yeah, he's tossed. And that rightfully so. And you know what? I don't mind that trade off. OG getting 1 technical like that. Hopefully the team will pay. I know they can't. But in some ways, it's hopefully not a big deal to OG that he got a tech for that. But he did kind of do a little extra to get it. Logical Raptors Fanatic saying, no matter what Fred does, for some people, it will never be enough. People just like the Fred VanVleet slandering culture and feel comfortable in thinking everyone doesn't like him too. So opinions are skewed on Fred. In some ways, this is a really gross and nasty kind of like macro level of bullying from a schoolyard when he was little. Think about it this way. Fred is short. Fred has always been undersized. He's always been picked on. And now these people are like the grossest, highest level of bullies in this way. You know, listen, if Fred was 6'9" or 7 foot, I don't know if he would get the treatment that he's getting right now. That in some ways, his stature and being a smaller player allows people to think they can really come at him. And in some ways, it makes it even gross and even more ugly that they are picking on him, because you're basically picking on the little guy in recess is what you're doing, you fucking Fred bully pieces of shit. You are basically like the big bully picking on the littlest guy in the class. And I don't understand why you want to be like that. You want to be like that? Listen, a Raptor fan, they root for the underdog. They root for the little guy. They root for the guy who comes up and achieves against all odds. And anybody who's like, oh, I want to coast and just win easy, that's why I root for LeBron's team, or I root for the Golden State Warriors. You know, fuck you. Because Fred has overcome this shit and he's won gold and very much earned it. And that's the thing that pisses me off the most about this is y'all are lazy and you just want to win. You're mostly, that's what the problem is with these people that hate Fred, is that they're lazy. And sure, maybe you have an excellence you want to hold, but listen, motherfucker, Fred has that excellence too, and he carries it for us. But listen, think about it this way. If this is a schoolyard, he's the shortest guy in the schoolyard, and y'all are all picking on him. A whole bunch of you, like 12, 15 of you ganging up on one little boy in the recess and beating him up and calling him and jeering him names. This is basically the equivalent of this to me as far as things. So yeah, you go ahead and be big, ugly, nasty, bad guy bullies, because that's what y'all are. That's the littlest guy on our team who's accomplished the most and worked the hardest. And y'all treat him like this? Fuck y'all. Y'all aren't Raptor fans. People that are coming at Freds, y'all are not Raptor fans. I'm sorry. You just are not. You may think that you have the best intentions for the team and that you think you're helping the team by driving him off the team, but you're not. This is not good for the team, and you don't realize that. You are not fans of the team. You're destructive, toxic people that need to shut the fuck up. If you know, what did your mom say? One of the old sayings is, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So how about if you have any problem with Fred VanVleet, you just hold your tongue and you just shut the fuck up for now, because there's nothing good you're adding to anything. Your critique doesn't mean shit, and you're just adding to toxic noise. So just fuck right off. I'm sick of it. What does this man have to do? Score fucking 30 plus games. It doesn't matter that we won or lost last night. He had a great game last night. I wish we had won, but he's not solely the man that lost the game for us. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Any person that thinks that right now about Fred, you're crazy. And y'all are bullies, bullying on the littlest kid in the class. You fucking feel good about yourself? You fucking feel good about yourself picking on the little guy? You go ahead and keep picking on the little guy. That is not Raptor fan kind of behavior. Fuck you is what I'll say. I'll say that every goddamn day about Fred slanderers and people coming after him all the time. Yeah, fuck y'all. Jimmy Pope saying, yeah, I don't know how Drew Holiday's points counted. I'm not even sure about that moment. Was it because of what happened with the lockup? I don't know. There was some fishy stuff with the refs, but for the most part, I felt like they were pretty good. Evan Scott's funny. He's funny. I can really tell that he has a relationship with Nick, and it probably has something to do with Prince. But he does listen to Nick Nurse, and him being a young ref, he can be impressionable. You know, people like Fred and Pascal and Nick can really have an impact on him. And, you know, Brook Lopez acting like an idiot, he doesn't make any friends with the refs. Why would they want to keep him around? He was talking out of his ass. And the way he was griping and crying to the refs during the game before that whole incident, he was so upset. His team's winning. And you're the one who's so fucking upset. Like, why are you so upset, Brook Lopez? In fact, listen, they're giving PED tests to Ja Morant like crazy because he think he's on the juice. The way he gets up in the stratosphere and throws it down on people. He's joking on Twitter. I've had 6 performance-enhancing drug tests this season, and now I come in this morning for my 7th one. Well, I think you might need to go check Brook Lopez for roid rage, NBA. Maybe you need to go give him a little test this morning and see why is he so angry and aggressive and acting so fucking crazy out of pocket. Go give him that drug test this morning and see if he's on roids, because that motherfucker's acting like he's on roid rage and he's delusional. He thinks that Gary Trent's headband is talking to him. So you need to give him a drug test this morning. And you may find psychedelics and steroids in that motherfucker's system. Yeah, I'm on it today. I'm cussing today. I will cuss some motherfuckers today. I will, sir. Yes, I will. All right, let's keep going. Cowboys saying, yeah, G, I seen that. Lopez wanted to dance. Also, Lex, that was awesome. Yeah, you like that? All right, cool. I like that, Bradley. Hughes saying, Brook Lopez is too old to be talking like a child. Not professional at all. I know. Like, how old is he? I think he got hit in the head too many times, and he has brain damage, honestly. Or is he on roids? Is he have roid rage? Or is he just fucking stupid? Like, is he got some brain damage? I really do think it is. Unpopular Raptor saying, why wouldn't Fred VanVleet guard Drew? Listen, put OG. We like to switch it up. He should guard him for a little while. Let other people guard him. Switch it around. Drew Holiday was just a problem in different ways. He's been very on it recently. Like, he really kicked Indiana's ass too. And Indiana's a very good team also. So it's like there's no slack in some ways. That Drew Holiday is a very good player that's obscured by Giannis and Chris Middleton to a degree as their 3rd best player. Well, he could be the best player on a lot of other teams in the league. So, I mean, in some ways, him doing what he did last night is not a slouch. That's just a very good player. Evelyn's here. Good morning, Raptorfreak crew. All I can say is, what the fuck, Lopez? I know, Granny Evelyn. I know. What the hell is wrong with him? Brain damage, probably. G saying the full clip. All right, let me make sure I read this. I like this. Okay, let me see the full clip. Okay, it jumped. I'm gonna make sure I get everybody's comments, and we'll make sure we read everything that's going on today. I love it. Oh wow, there's a lot. I'm gonna make sure I get all this, and I see that you guys are scrapping a little bit. I'm gonna make sure we get through all this and we suss it all out. I'm gonna make sure we'll get through all this. Trust me. All right, the full clip shows Gary was about a foot away where Lopez grabbed his jersey and pulled Gary into him. Gary did not want a part of it, but was being pushed back and didn't want to fall. Yeah, he had him in his arms like this. It's kind of like a weird wrestling hold that you can hold the guy's arms with your own arms and he can't do nothing. It's like, what do you want him to do, Brooke? You grab him by the jersey, pulled him into you, and then your arms interlock. And like, okay, I get it. You guys are kind of locked up and you're carrying him. And then you're just like, you grab his headband and toss it. I don't know. It's so crazy and weird. Denal saying, laugh my ass off at Hugh. I just caught on to your name. Lexi, I agree about Brooke. Dude's a clown. He does sound a bit slow. Not slander at logical, but it's traceable some games. Yeah, that's his name. I don't like saying his whole name on here because then I'm like Mo Sislak on The Simpsons and answering the phone. Hello, who is this? Hugh Direction? Is this Bot? Bot, are you calling me again, Bot? G saying Fred shot as many as Drew, and more Raptors had 10 or more shots than the Bucks. Fred can't guard every 3 and make everyone's free throws. Yeah, I'm with everybody who's standing up for Fred this morning, and everybody's coming after him. You have nothing. Stop, please. He was the leading scorer. He did a lot of good things last night. Oh my gosh. Logical saying denial, not gonna lie, saying he isn't the replacement the team needed is wild and slander. You're rating Lowry as a leader is overblown. I remember tons of Lowry issues, and people like Lowry killed Lowry for it. Deja vu much. This is the thing. They just they want somebody to eat. Like the fans that are idiots and want to critique, they're going to eat up whoever is just slightly doing bad. It doesn't matter. We could be doing overall perfect for the most part, and there could be just one player that's struggling, and they will go after him like vultures in a carcass, just digging in and ripping into them. And we could be winning. We could win 10 games in a row. And there'll be one player, Malachi, is not playing well. He's struggling. They would go after him. These motherfuckers just want somebody to critique. They think they're Siskel and Ebert. They think they're fucking Leonard Maltin. They just want to be a fucking movie critic. Well, maybe you need to go fucking critic movies instead of fucking basketball players, because this ain't helpful. You're going to come down on whoever. You're going to figure out who it is. It's going to be somebody. There's not going to be nobody. It's never going to be time when this peanut gallery is quiet. This negative ass toxic peanut gallery is quiet. They're always going to find someone to fucking talk shit about. So especially when we're having trouble, ooh, the chorus of it all comes out real loud. These dumbass, fake ass, toxic motherfucking Raptor fans. They're not real fans. People that are coming after Fred like this. I'm sorry, you're not. You may think, oh, but he's hurting our team for winning in the long run. No, he is not. He's helping us win. And you don't understand that because you don't understand basketball. He's a big, big part of our winning culture and what we're doing here in Toronto the right way. And that we don't, he leaves, like they said on the broadcast. Stan Van Gundy said it last night. Every single team in this league would love to have Fred VanVleet on their team. Why are Raptor fans so wanting to throw him out like the garbage right now? Why? When Stan Van Gundy, a longtime heralded coach in the NBA, knows his shit, is saying every single other team in the NBA would love to have Fred VanVleet on their roster. Yeah. All right. All right, let's keep going. Denal saying Fred was forcing some shots though. Drew got his in the flow of the game. I'm going by what I see. Team plays differently when he's off ball or off. More team ball and movement. I don't know why. I actually want to see them mix it up. He can be off ball and on ball. I like the control when Fred has the ball. In fact, in some ways, he makes it more steady and more comfortable and controlled in some ways than Scotty or even Pascal. That in some ways, I listen, I don't mind him on either role. He did both roles with Lowry and his mix of success and failure with both. But he's good at both. Let's stop like sullying him. This dude is good at both. His assist to turnover ratio is good all around. And for the most part, other than his bad field goal percentage this season, he is a better shooter. And he's getting better right now, as we can see. He's shooting way better now than he did 2 weeks ago. And we need to continue to allow him to continue to come out of the slump. Because he's right now, he's very presently coming out of his slump. Tom Duke saying this unpopular guy is Betson Art. Are you ashamed you use multiple profiles? Shaking my head. All right, Tom has done some investigation, and this is Bateson Art. Bateson Art is here, and he's using another name. And that is what it is. That's fine. Listen, I can't stop that. Let them come back in with different names, aliases. That's fine. We'll just like at some point they'll get thrown out again under every single name if they continue to act out. There's rules here. And if he stays in the rules, he can be here still. I have no problem with this. I can't suss this out, Tom Duke. But if you have figured this out, okay, it's good to know. Jimmy's saying that. It may not be true, but that's what you think. It could be true. Monique saying, thank you, Gary, for holding your cool. Seriously, man. Happy birthday, Gary Trent Jr. You are an ultimate professional. You are a way more wiser and mature for your age than a big goon that plays center for the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, you are a much more mature, wise old soul than a fucking big ass baby who acts like he's 6 years old named Brook Lopez. Yeah, truth. Nako saying, I don't think we did a bad job on Brook to begin with. At some point, you should throw in Koloko. Yeah, Koloko needs some time out there. Although, listen, those bigs on Milwaukee are physical. And in some ways, it's not a good matchup for Koloko because these guys have beef and they can just butt him out and do a Rick Mahorn butt shot and he's out. He's got nothing down there. Let's see. Savage saying, laugh out loud, Tom on his ass. Yeah, there you go. Savage coming in here. I love Savage. Savage is cool with me. But yeah, get him, Tom. Get him. Tell him what's up. Yeah. Canadian Cowboy saying, go, Tom. Let's go. Raptors and Freaks call Nurse or Lopez. I called Nurse already, Bradley. You have to go back and watch that. I was a little stern with him. Blackhawk saying, I disagree. Pascal was fine. He had a good efficiency. Free throws could have been higher, but he was not hogging the ball. Pascal balanced his defense with his offense. His legs were heavy, so he deferred. All right, I'm going to try and turn the other cheek and see your side of things. I mean, listen, I am being a little harsh on him, but it's partly because he is that kind of player for us that, listen, I don't mind Fred taking over and being on top, but Pascal needs to be one of the top 3 guys at least. And in a lot of ways, you could say he was. But the missed free throws were huge for me, like I said. And also the 4 turnovers, not very good at all. He looked clumsy at times, like O.G.s looked clumsy recently. And also, the thing about what he did last night is he disappeared in times when we needed him to just step up and make baskets. This is another thing I'm judging Pascal on at this point. If he's the man, he's the superstar for us, in crunch time, he needs to be filling up the basket and helping us to win. And too often at the end of the game, he's doing nothing. He's not scoring or stepping up or doing anything. And that's another reason why I had a problem with him last night. His stats are great. Trust me, I should be nicer to him. 9 rebounds, 3 assists, a block. But still, 4 turnovers, 4 missed free throws. Only 1 of his 4 3-point attempts went through. In some ways, I don't feel like he was aggressive enough. But I can see your other side. He's doing really good defense. He's not hogging the ball. Sure, we can go both ways on this. But, in some ways, I need him to step up. I just need Pascal to step up a little bit more. And it may be more in clutch and just carrying water and scoring in times when we're having trouble scoring. Kareem saying we need a center. And my goodness, what is happening with our perimeter defense? This trade deadline, I'm looking to add to the equation. Fuck them picks. Go get Jakob. Yeah, there's more and more noise about Jakob Poetle being very much available. There's other teams that are very much thirsting after him, like the Celtics, like the Lakers. We need to be the team that gets him. I don't want to see Jakob Poetle in the Boston Celtics green. Don't do that abusive thing to him. We need to land him back here somehow, some way, Bobby Webster. I am all about this, and I think Kareem Thomas is right. The perimeter defense has been really weird and off. Our switching was really weird. There was one play where they did a little runaround on O.G., which was brilliant. I don't know what Mike Budenholzer had drawn up, but it was with Connaughton and Grayson Allen, and they were near at the top of the 3-point line, and they did this little switch, and O.G. was the only defender around, and they made him run around in a circle, and Grayson Allen hit the 3. That was a really brilliant play, the way they did that little screen and move, because O.G. couldn't do anything to recover and get to him. But yeah, there was a lot of that kind of stuff. They're really smart about getting open threes for the Bucks. There's a lot of their system and the way that they do things sets them up for these really good shots. And then when you have really capable money kind of 3-point shooters, that's what happens. So in some ways, I understand the perimeter defense was not as good last night for us, but in a lot of ways, you got to attribute it to a really good system by Milwaukee that is equipped with very good shooters. And that is a big part of why our perimeter defense looked so bad last night in some ways. They were really good at finding open shots and making them. Hugh is saying, as much as I don't like Grayson Allen, I would love to have a shooter like him on our team. He just can't seem to miss against us, whether it's in the clutch or not. Yeah, he's been annoying. He hit that dagger in the game here in Toronto. And yeah, he was annoying again last night, hitting big shots in different times. I just hate the guy. Honestly, he's a goon. I wish DeMar had punched him in the face when Chicago and him had the problem recently. Yeah, I don't like the dude. He's a clown. And there's a lot of guys on Milwaukee I'm starting to really hate. Like Milwaukee was a team that I didn't mind so much. I have respect and love for Giannis, and I don't mind Chris Middleton, but I fucking hate Brook Lopez. I hate Grayson Allen, and I don't really like Bobby Portis either. So it's like there's a lot of guys on that team I kind of hate at this point. Unpopular Raptors retort to Tom Dukas, not ashamed, fool, but man blocked me because he can't actually debate. So I go around laughing myself. So it is baits and art. All right, I can debate you. It's just that, like I said before, and I've said this before on this channel, I don't have time for people that are a waste of time on this channel. Like, listen, I'll listen to your opinions, but at a certain point when I realize that your opinion is based more on just the need to slander people or do different things like that, then I don't have time for this. You see how many comments I have to deal with on this live stream reaction to the game last night. And listen, if you're not a part of the Raptorfreak cult and about part of what we're doing in some ways, I don't mind visitors. I don't mind other people from other teams. I don't mind toxic Raptor fans, but to a certain point, the door gets shut. And that's what I'm saying. If I say you got strikes coming, then you will get struck out and you'll out here. So that's really how the rules go. And listen, I can't stop you from making another account, coming in here again and talking about it. There's nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with that. But just understand there's rules here. This is my channel and I fucking make the rules. If you don't follow them, I kick your ass out. And you can say, well, there's free speech or anything like that. I'll debate you till the fucking ends of the earth. Trust me. But it's a waste of time to a certain point and a certain place. And I'd much rather talk to my friends, the real ones on here, than having to deal with your stupid ass comments over and over again. And that's why people get blocked. So have I explained it to you in a way? This is not a free country. This is my channel. And, we talk about what we talk about here. And if you don't fit that parameters or the rules of the channel, you're out. And that's how it works. So, yeah, let me read the rest of your comment and we'll see if you get strike. Man blocked me because he can't actually debate. Yeah, I can debate. And I would debate you in person. And I would fucking mop the floor with you any kind of way. Seriously. Once again, I won't say everything that I say right now on this channel. You can see my face. I would say it to your face on the street. And you just make sure you could do that yourself. Because I'm a 6'4", big old fucking 210-pound man. You come fucking say that shit to my face. And you will not say half the shit you say through the computer and the safety of the other side of the screen that you would say in person. Because I'll tell you, I'll meet you right down the street at Queen Street and Carlaw. And boom, I'll meet you in person. I have no problem doing that. Seriously. I am that kind of guy. Trust me. I am that kind of guy. So let's see. Hence, he gives people a 5-minute response time so people can't respond to what he says until it's too late. Listen, the way this channel is set up is so that it can work within the parameters of time. I had a time where we didn't have to have the time limit because there wasn't as much traffic. Now there's way more traffic and I've had to deal with it more. And in some ways, part of the reason why there's a 5-minute delay is to stop you guys from talking too much among yourselves. Logical Raptors fanatic was going off and having his own thread of conversations with other people in here. And it's to limit that kind of back and forth. Because listen, we should be interacting you and me, not each other too much. And there was a lot of extra dialogue that I didn't want to read. So there's a lot of real good reasons for why this channel is set up this way. And it's like I said, it's my rules, my channel. Either you go with it or you don't, or just don't come here. I don't care if you come here or not. I'm glad you have found the way to come back in here and still talk to me. Well, that's fine. We can do that. So there you go. Tom Duke saying but you do have one strike just for that one there because it's just wasting my time. That's what I'm saying. I'm an hour and a half into this reaction stream. I may go 3 hours. I don't want to spend 45 minutes of it talking to you. All right. G's saying that's why he did the 5-minute. Yeah. See, G's just explaining it. Laugh my ass off. He put that in place a long time ago. So his lives don't go like 2 or 3 hours. Exactly. G's saying it. Mike's saying, imagine only viewing players well after they left. And truth is, Lowry was Lowry the whole time. And choker and fat stuff from similar negative fans has completely changed to untouchable. Great at the moment. Shaking my head. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. These guys they value DeMar so much more since he left. And they turncoat and they change. Oh, I love him. He was the best. Well, when he was here, you talked so much shit about him. You're part of the people that were driving him out of here in certain ways, like, not being nice. Yeah, that's a big part of it right there. It's like, listen, just be loyal and love your dudes. They're Raptors, red and purple in their blood. That you got to just stick with them. And Fred, Pascal, these guys are bonded in. These guys are champions for the Raptors. They should be held on high pedestals and esteem in a lot of ways. We can be critical and understand what is best for the team going forward, but at the same time, you don't need to slander them. You need to honor them and respect them for what they've accomplished with the team already. And there's not enough people doing that. It's like really fucked up. It's like, seriously, these are our champions. Treat them with respect. These are dudes that got rings for Toronto. What is wrong with y'all? Carlos is saying, morning, guys. Good morning, Carlos. One of my favorite new people in the channel. You're awesome, Carlos. Denal saying he isn't the leader we need is not slander. He doesn't work as the leader of this team. I'm not saying he's a horrible leader. He just doesn't work as this team's. I love him off ball again. I mean, listen, I don't think you're slandering him. And I wouldn't say that, Denal. You know what the difference is. Listen, that's a valid kind of critique. Is Fred the right leader for this team with his style? Yes, because he's been that leader all along. He's been the same leader since he came here. He was a leader already as a rookie. It's just installed in him as a person. He's just a natural leader. So this leadership that he's had on the team has been here when all these other leaders were here and now since they've been gone. I think it's a very valid, very fruitful, good leadership to have on this team. Like I said, Stan Van Gundy said this leadership is good for any team. Every team in the league would love to have this kind of leadership on this team. I don't know if his leadership style is really that clashing in a way that's bad for us. I don't know. I don't exactly understand the distinction you're trying to make about his leadership and why it's not good for us. Because I just see good stuff as far as what he's doing, as far as him being a consistent leader for what, 6, 7 years now on this team. It's been the same all along, Kyle here or not. He's been that kind of guy in the behind the scenes the whole time. Seymour saying tough loss. Morning, Raptor freaks. Good morning, Sheriff Seymour Pate. We might need your wrench today. Let's just put it that way. We got some people. There's some rabble rousers in here. Summer Low saying, are we in tank mode yet? I won't say it yet. Summer, good to see you in the chat, Summer Low. We're taking it game by game. Listen, I won't even say that we're tanking, even if it seems like we're tanking by the end of the season. I'll just say we're losing this year. And that's just how it is. No, I don't think we're tanking. We played good last night. We could have won the game. And we're going to continue to try out and win as much as possible. So I don't think we're in tank mode. No. I don't think we ever will be in tank mode. It doesn't make any sense at this point. We're just too not committed to losing. And tanking, really, you have to be committed to losing in a way. We're not. We're definitely not. Cool Cat saying Pascal and OG are burnt out. They're overcompensating for no center on the court. I could say, yeah, I could agree with this. I think Cool Cat's right on this. For fuck's sake, play Koloko a few minutes here and there. Pascal and OG on other teams, amazing with less defensive load. I don't know if that's true either. Like, listen, our guys, they enjoy a lot of helpful things from home cooking and being in a happy place, in a nice place. You could put Pascal on another team and he probably would be very good, but he may not be as good because he's not as comfortable. He's got to go through fitting in with the other system and other players around him. There's all kinds of things that can hurt him and he wouldn't be as good in some ways. This is like the crude comfort of being on the Raptors, having Masai, having the OBO center, having his teammates that he's familiar with is so much more important than you think. And then if he went to another team, yeah, he may find success, but it may be really hard. And there may be a backtrack on his success and how good he is. In some ways, we prop him up. So I don't know if that's true. OG may be different because he's so much on the defensive side. I think Pascal's offense would suffer on other teams, but OG would probably be fine on any other team in the league. He's a special case in this way. But yeah, play Koloko more. And I agree with Cool Cat on this one, that in some ways they are getting worn out because they have to play center stuff just like in Tampa. And that's no good. We don't want that, Nick. You need to play your big man. You got Kem Birch. You got Koloko. You got some big guys on the bench like Thad Young that you could be bringing in and lessening the load on physical for these guys down low. Because OG and Pascal do look burnt out. And I'll agree with that. Blackhawk saying drives in the paint and three-pointers are our biggest weakness. Solve the three-point shots, and we can deal with our opponents in the paint. This has been a problem for over 2 years. Time to fix it. Sometimes our defense is on and sometimes it isn't. There's been times where it's been very much on recently. But because of playing Scotty at center, the backdoor gets wide open at times, and they get these lob dunks that are just insane. I hate them. Mitchell Robinson getting them on Monday night. Some of the stuff that Brook Lopez was able to do near the basket, it's just too easy. And in some ways, yeah, we just need a big physical center to get in their way and cause problems, because sometimes we come out and we're kind of guarding away from the basket. The basket's completely open. They just roll down there and they get a lob and dunk it. I hate seeing that. I hate seeing that so much. We got to fix that. For sure. As far as the 3-point shots, we're doing better this year at guarding the 3-point line than we did last year, at least. But in some games, like I said, Milwaukee's really makes their whole game plan to free themselves up to make these threes, and they're very good at hitting them. Randolph saying, with the 3-point shot falling, Joe should have been given a chance to see if he'll produce for us. I agree with that. I think that, yeah, Joe Wesikamp should have been given a chance to play. He needs to get a chance to play just so we can see what's up with him, for sure. Unpopular Raptors agreeing with Cool Cat. Yeah, and I agree with the most part with what they're saying, too. Denal saying valid at Cool Cat, and I agree. Randolph Phillips, give Wesikamp a shot. Dude can shoot. Yeah, he needs a shot. We need to see what he can do. Carlos is saying, imagine getting it down to 2 points at 3 or so minutes. They just ran out of gas. Please, nurse, return to the under 40 minutes a game rotation. I'm with that. I'm totally with that for sure. And that margin, we just kept, we were so close. It was like a 4-point margin with like 3 minutes, different things could have gone certain ways, but we didn't have the juice to finish it out. And Milwaukee had home court advantage. They had a couple different things going in their way. And it sucks. It sucks that we did not execute at the end of the game to win. That's Raptors culture, and we want to see that again. Callie's saying, oh my God, Lopez is a goon. Embarrassing behavior for a professional. We lost because of poor shooting, which could have been from lack of ball movement. Yeah, ball movement more will help with the shooting percentage to go up and making easier shots, because you get an easier shot because the other guy drew attention and then kicked it to you real quick, for sure. And yeah, Lopez agreed on everything said there. Guardian Transit saying DeAndre Ayton type player required. So you think we should get Ayton? I mean, it is really interesting. The possibilities of what could happen with the Raptors franchise over the next month is all over the place. It's kind of really crazy, and we just got to wait and see. I know people are really going to get ahead, and they're going to say what they wish that would happen, stuff like that. But knowing Bobby Webster, he's going to do something that nobody else is going to expect, and it may be not much of anything, and everybody will be like kind of disappointed. It's probably going to be like a small move, and everybody like, oh, this is all you're going to do? That's what happens with him quite often. They'll be like expecting some big, huge, crazy, monumental move, and he doesn't do jack shit hardly. He does like a little move like Thad Young for Goran Dragic, something like that. Let's see. Mike's saying a center that shoots threes puts Scotty back at forward, and Fred, Spicy, OG, Scotty in a center would be solid in my opinion. Defensively and offensively, little on the pick and roll defense, but rim protection helps cover that better. Yeah, I mean, listen, they may be really getting more evidence this season that the big man just kills us too much, and that we do need, Coloco's a great draft pick for down the road, but we may need somebody sooner. I think it's still Kem Birch, and he's just not using him, and that's the big problem. It's like, just play Kem. Jeez. Jimmy's saying a genuine center that could anchor our defense and rebound would help so much. Precious, Kem Birch, Thaddeus Young, Coloco. I mean, these guys are supposed to be our centers, and they could possibly do some of this job. I really do see Kem as being able to anchor our defense, but we don't use our anchor for some reason. I don't understand it. All right, let's see what Bateson's saying. Fred checks out, Raps down 44-34. Fred checks back in, game's tied 53-53. Fred checks out 105-97. Fred checks back in after a scrum, 113-110. Fred finishes game. Raps lose 130-122. I mean, you want to look at that stuff and just say that coincides with everything. I mean, maybe that's just an easy way to point it out in that kind of way. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of other factors. You can't just point to one guy and stuff like that. I know this is what a lot of the Fred haters are saying this morning. They're talking about when was he in, when was he out, when was the score, what, and what happened when this and this and this. I don't care about any of that. In some ways, I just want to win. And you know what? I understand that maybe this is what is seems like that he came in and the other team started coming back or eating up our lead and stuff. Whatever. I mean, we could cut these numbers any kind of way to fit whatever agenda that we want to. That's the way stats are, and that's the way people are with like objectives for fulfilling what they want to believe and what they want to put out there. And that's what I'll say about this. Fiercely saying, we keep saying U.S. media doesn't respect us, but many times we've been on their national TV. We've looked bad. I know. I think this is part of the design, though. Like, in some ways, there is a dark Illuminati with the NBA that is really trying to hurt the Raptors in some ways. Like, they put us on national television twice now against the Bucks, both times, and they've been embarrassing games where we looked absolutely horrible. Like, what is up with that? Like, we should not be fulfilling this narrative that we suck as a franchise to the U.S. media and the U.S. audience, because it's very much giving them more bullets to their guns about how we suck. It's like they don't see us in the other stuff. I mean, maybe this year we just suck, and that's just how it is. But yeah, I you know what? Listen, I actually have more respect for the U.S. media recently, because in these games, they could have kicked us while we've been down, but they've been very respectful in a lot of ways also. And they've spoken us up and said, this is a good team, and the record doesn't reflect this. Like Stan Van Gundy, very, very, very fair in the way he called the game last night in a lot of ways. So I don't know. It's weird. It's like we've gotten to the point where we have more respect around the NBA in some ways. The championship and being a winning team for a long time, it's starting to catch up. That they actually are kind of respecting us to a degree, and I appreciate that. I will. I'll give them some points for that. Blackhawk saying Juancho cuts good, but he needs to make shots. Nick Nurse should have found one more person off the bench to bring energy for the second night of a back-to-back. Nick Nurse has to own this loss as he got outcoached by Bud. I won't disagree with this. In some ways, Nick, your rotation should have been a little more spread out with more minutes from more bench. And I agree with this. Like, he should have found some more people to help off the bench, especially if you're noticing during the game that this is a high scoring affair and that this game is getting ratcheted up with a lot of offense. Well, bring more players in to have more energy and more, you need more people to score more to get that total up near 130. And if you don't play enough guys, you can't expect just the starters to get that many points by themselves. It's kind of like you got to be logical about this and think, what is it going to take for my team to get 130 points? Well, I'm going to need to play 9 or 10 of them at least to do that. And I think you're right. I won't disagree that Nick Nurse, he did get outcoached by Coach Bud last night. I won't disagree with that statement at all. And they did need to find somebody else out there. Juancho does need to shoot his shots. He needs to be more aggressive taking them, and he needs to make them. He's too much of like quiet out there offensively, and we can't have him being like a dead wood kind of position guy. We need you to score also, Juancho. You got to make points somehow, some way. Like last night, what did you do? You got 8 minutes. You made one shot for 2 points, and that really was like a cut, something close and easy. All right. Bateson saying we're heading for a top 10 pick this year's draft, baby. Yeehaw. Jamal McGlure with the tech goated. All right. It's a little bit of trolling. I'm going to give you your second strike just for 2. And if you have a third one down the road, look out. All right. Let's see. I'm going to give you your second strike just for now because you're annoying. Mike saying we have seen the metrics from Kanono in that center place is fire defensively. Add threes and more experienced guy there. We would boost the offense. Masai and Bobby have seen this and are working on it at the moment. All right, well, we'll have to see. I think that, there may be some fruit with you guys keep saying you want a center that can shoot threes. So we'll have to see if we can get that. Denal saying, I think someone said we need to win the next 20 of 25 or something. If true, ouch. I don't know if Nurse is just riding these guys to showcase them for trade. Makes no sense. 40-plus minutes on a back-to-back. Well, he's very much on the record for saying he wants the best quality lineup out there to give him the best opportunity to win. And he really, truly believes overplaying his starters is the strategy for this. So that's really a big part of it right there. I don't know. People are going to say that we need to win this amount or this amount to do this or do that and whatever. I just say take it game by game and just let the record be what it's supposed to be. I don't want to see any manipulation other than we're just trying our asses off to try and win every single game going out. There shouldn't be any kind of like slouching or point shaving or trying not to win that some people want for a better draft pick. I don't care about that. Even if we just slightly make it in the play-in, win in the play-in and get in the first round and have a first-round exit, I have no problem with that because that's more experience for Scotty. And listen, this is the thing. These guys are going to be getting exponentially better anyway. So we don't need to tank to get somebody like Victor or Scoot to be better. Precious and Scotty are going to get better just on their own, and we're going to grow from that. And in some ways, we're going to add and improve the roster around them, and we'll get better in that way too. But there are ways to improve without absolutely tanking and just trying to get a high draft pick. And we're closer to being a good team than than being a bad team. We really are. We're very much closer to that. It's just you guys can't see it because the winning's not consistent right now. All right, let's see. Tom Duke is saying, haha, just so everyone knows, that fella retracted his messages and then leaves his message about a top 10 pick. Poor debate skills, if that's what you're doing. Ha, 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 Tom's laughing. And then Unpopular Raptor saying, I removed the message because I posted a duplicate. Okay, you guys are talking trash. Just saying we're not blocking your brilliant takes. And Tom is laughing a lot. I like it. Jimmy saying, Unpopular Raptor, you're a weirdo, man. Don't deserve to be a Raps fan. Just straight toxic short-mindedness. Yes, Jimmy Pope. You go. Positive Pope. I'm going to call you the Positive Pope. He's the Pope of positivity. That's right. Jimmy Pope is the Pope of positivity now, and I love you for it. Fiercely saying Ibaka needs to come back. He barely plays for the Bucks, and yesterday was out for personal reasons. Yeah, he's been out for personal reasons recently. I don't even think he's with the team. They didn't show him on camera at any point yesterday, so I don't think he was actually at the game. And in some ways, that may have been by design. It may be hard for him to play against the Raptors. He doesn't want to play against his favorite team in the NBA. Let's see. Blackhawk is saying Koloko should have been on the floor when Brook and Bobby were on the floor. Bucks struggle when we use our bigger lineup. We had too many defensive breakdowns with Fred and Gary playing at the same time. That's an interesting thing. I really wish Thad and Kem were more involved in our rotation right now. I just feel like they would solve a lot of these problems with big guys right now, and we're just not playing them enough. It sucks, and I hate it. Why can't we play Kem Burks? Why can't we play Thad Young? Come on, Nick, just play him. All right, let's see. Unpopular Raptors, very true moniker. Big man, because he doesn't have a time response on my messages. Nah, but blocked my old account. Dummy boy. Man said puts time limits to stop his streams going 2-3 hours. Proceed to go 2-3 hours. No, I don't want to go over the 2 or 3 hours. I'll go 3 hours. That's really my cap. Last season for the playoffs, I got up to 5 hours in one stream. That was crazy. But that's like my whole day. I can't do that. But yeah, you're out, man. You calling people dummies and stuff like that. We ain't having that. That's negativity that ain't right. You're going to have to make another account, okay? You fuck. Get the fuck out of here. You're out of here, motherfucker. Woo. He's not calling me a dummy boy. I think he's calling Tom Duke a dummy boy. But if he called me a dummy boy, that's fine too. He's like name calling. See, that just shows right there. He's just fucking full of shit, motherfucker. All right, let's see. G saying that response time was put in there way before you started or joined. Yeah, it's not about you, bro. It's not about you, unpopular opinion or whatever your fucking name is. I had this before, and it was before you came here and stuff like that. Tom saying another great point. So glad you're here. Maybe you're rude. Okay, Lolita's saying, imagine O.G., Scotty, and Precious in a couple of years. They will destroy NBA teams. They will figure it all out and be dynamite and scary. I agree with this. And this is what some Raptor fans may need to just start thinking about the future and feeling fuzzy, warm, sunny things about the future for us. Because look at Scotty. Oh, my gosh. You cannot look at Scotty and not feel like, wow, this is going to be really good. More and more, he gets more and more experience and really learns the NBA game. And just imagine him as a vet. He can already dissect people. He's going to be able to dissect people even better. And last night, he showed more and more of that stuff where he just does whatever the fuck he wants. Down near the basket, gets easy, low post, high percentage shots. Like he goes and collects them like Super Mario collecting coins in Mario Brothers 2. He's just like ding, 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 ding. He just gets them. They're there for him to take, and he just gets them. Jimmy Pope saying, dude drops 39 and still says, oh, he's the reason they lost. Laughing my ass off. Fuck off. Yes, Jimmy Pope. Pope of positivity. You got a new moniker now, man. Yeah, that's right. Cowboy saying, who you calling dummy boy? What's up with this guy? Yeah, Cowboy. Maybe we need to meet him somewhere. Are you in downtown? Unpopular Raptor. Are you downtown? Because I will meet you. Seriously, we can talk in person. I won't fight you unless you want to fight. We can fight, but otherwise we can just talk in person. Let's just get this all worked out in person. And Bradley can come too. He's here in Toronto too. And him and we can come meet you and see how you're doing. See how you're doing real quick. Tom Duke saying hate is strong in this mystery man who's aptly named. I have hate too for people. I've said this. That people say, oh, hate is a strong word. Well, in some ways there is hate in this world. So it is what it is. G saying, you are just making up stuff now. I was put in place because of all the comments in his lives going long. Nothing to do with what you were saying whatsoever. You're being childish right now. Okay, yeah. I might skip the back and forth with him now that I've kicked him out again. Let's see. G saying, did you know OG is oftentimes in the negative of the plus minus? Now ask yourself why and why that never comes up, because that stat is only used out of convenience. Yeah, it's very much the plus minus stat really is a stat to be used to reinforce motivated agendas. Because you can turn it and look at it in any kind of way. It's not really a good measure in some ways for things. It really, really isn't. It's not very to the individual. It's for the team. While the individual's on the court, and they may not have anything to do with why that plus minus is that way for their stat line. So Monique saying, unpopular. If you support Lex, you support him. You don't, you get out. Monique, thank you for being a good friend. And I appreciate and love you very much. Danelle saying, there is definitely a very anti-Fred channel out there. Laugh out loud. We all know him. Some points are valid, but man, he's toxic all the time. Everything is tongue in cheek and backhanded compliments. There you go. Yeah, we know who that is. And Bateson is a minion of his. And that's part of the reason why he's coming here and talking to us and stuff like that. It is what it is. Whatever. I mean, they're going to have their channels. I have my right to have my channel the way I have it. They have the right to have their channel the way they want it. And that's just how it is. It is what it is. G saying that channel never brought up Scotty's -20 when he was playing point guard. Anyways, won't go on about this, but stats being cherry picked for an agenda is wrong, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with that. We just look at them and we do what we do. All right, I'm glad I cut this out because it seems like there was a lot more back and forth and stupid shit going on. Fiercely saying no Fred slander will be tolerated. That's right, Ghostbusters. Nope, we put that X out of that. And nope, we ain't tolerating it. Fiercely Salsera, Twitch family for Scotty coming in and bringing one of the rules. No Fred VanVleet slander in this pool. There's no P in this pool, and there's no Fred VanVleet slander in this pool either. Carlos is saying one thing, too, about the Fred VanVleet hate is that other players are watching like Scotty, and he sees what's happening. He's going to think the fan base is going to turn on him at a drop of a hat. Well, I know that this is something we could worry about, but we can't really because every fan base in the NBA is like this. There's toxic bullshit in every single one of them. People coming after different people. There's Celtic fans that hate one of the big two, and they were like, let's get rid of Jaylen Brown or let's get rid of Jason and just have Jaylen be on the team. It's in every nation, trust me. Now, we may be more active because we seem like we're more involved on social media in different places. And like I said, there's also the phenomena of fans of other teams coming in acting like they're Toronto Raptor fans and stirring the pot and having asinine bullshit, crazy-ass opinions. Like in some ways, the unpopular Raptor, he may think he's a Raptor fan, but deep down inside, he isn't. He's actually rooting for another team, and that this is just part of like the subterfuge and the crazy like bullshit that they're trying to spawn. So we got to think about it from different ways. Now, we can't worry about this. It's all kinds of different reasonings for why NBA players will want to do what they want to do in their motives. And I hope that the fans and fan hate isn't something they really do take into account, because it's probably very much the same wherever they go. And it's not actually something that's different for us than it is for Philadelphia, New York, Orlando, Miami fans. Apparently, the Miami Heat fans are saying that there's nobody actually really fans of the team anymore. They're just fans of particular players on the team. And they fight between like the people that are Kyle Lowry people fight with the Tyler Hero people. And that there's a lot of that kind of phenomenon going on a lot of teams around this league. That the Fred versus Scotty thing is just our team's one. There's one for every single team in this league. And that this is a phenomenon for every single fan nation, Carlos. So we're not special in this case. We are not special, trust me. Logical saying, facts. Cherry picking is based on opinions and not facts, or that would show and talk on everything good or bad. Yeah, we got to talk about the good stuff about Fred's stat line and not just that -27. I'm sorry. G saying, you're being ridiculous right now. Loyal people to this channel complained about the 5-minute response and he explained it. You're too high in your opinion, it seems. Listen, bro, if you want to write me an email, you can see my email and you can write out every single fucking thing you can't fit in a 5-minute response and whatever many characters that you get on this channel. You really have an axe to grind, or you want to get something across to me, the channels to do it are there. The options and the ways to do it are there. You can get things across to me. If you feel like I'm limiting you from being able to express yourself, there are ways people have been able to find to express themselves to me other than just in the live stream chat that is limited because of time constraints. So Cool Cat saying, I love all of our players. I'm just thinking of our next chip, and I don't want us to burn out our players. Mobile center ASAP. Who is our Lowry type of point guard? I still hope it's Fred. I really do. I'm not giving up on him. And sure, a mobile center ASAP, that would be nice. I love it. Denal saying IQ-wise, Doughton. He likes Doughton. On-court guidance and holding people accountable, no clue. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Part of it is that we do need like a demonstrative, like very aggressive kind of top dog, like Kyle Lowry would be. In some ways, Fred is not totally this guy. And Pascal isn't either. And in some ways, Scotty may be more that, like as he grows and matures and becomes older and vet, that he may actually grow into this role better than those other guys. I wish Fred could just do it and just do it without being hindered by whether it's the fans' toxicity or just the fact that he's not playing as well. Well, he's playing better now. Step up, Fred, and be that guy and be a hard ass and really hold guys accountable underneath with the whole team. That you've dropped these 30 bags on teams recently. You have a little bit of leash to talk and tell everybody, let's go and let's get things going. Because in some ways, holding people accountable is a big problem this season. This is part of the problem with our team right now. They don't want to point fingers. They don't want to turn on each other. But also at the same time, they have to be honest and critical about where we need to perform better. And in some ways, there's not the right kind of leadership that's getting this out of certain guys right now. And that may be partly Nick Nurse. That may be partly also somebody like Fred or something like that. So, okay. All right. Let me see. Reading more of this stuff. Okay. G saying, Fred literally said Scotty saved him, said he was playing sharp, had great passes, complimented Precious and Koloko on the bench. This is how I know you do not actually watch the interviews and just follow the herd. That's right. That's right. Mike saying, Cool Cat, thing is we're trying to go positionless and guys need minutes at guard to work the kinks. Having a dominant, heavy point guard would take away from the versatility we're aiming for. Fred at the moment, SB later. That's the plan. I like that. I like what Mike's saying there. Savage saying, and during a 6-game losing streak, Pascal was still saying to stay together and how he loves his teammates. But yeah, no one ever said anything good but the golden child. This is true. We were struggling really bad, and Pascal was playing at a high level still. And he kept that positive vibe and things going, right? And that's important. But, was people coming after Pascal even though we were losing, even though he was having huge games? No, people were very proud of him and he playing such a high level, getting a huge amount of points in New York, stuff like that. Calipoon saying, I wish they changed lottery odds to reduce incentive for tanking. The toxic fan culture is annoying. Losing gets even worse because negative Nancy's will go off with their childish told you so's. Yeah, that's a big part of it. Winning helps everything. It helps with the toxicity for sure. And that's part of why you can get mired and be a bad franchise for many years, is because the fans' toxicity adds to the whole noise and makes it even harder to come out of it. And that's why we want to counteract it and be kind of the antidote for that kind of poison. Let's see. Yeah, they're doing things to kind of limit teams from the incentive of tanking. That play-in was a big part of it. Like the play-in has very much made it anti-tanking in some ways. That play-in tournament's been smart. And also, I know that they have oversight, that there's people in the NBA head office that are kind of maybe watching the teams to kind of detect maybe intentional losing, and that maybe there'll be like punishments and ramifications for teams that are caught purposefully tanking. And that I think that's been alluded to. I haven't heard anybody actually get punished for this yet, but there could be a case at some point in the near future where an NBA team gets penalized because they were caught tanking. Because, Adam Silver has been made very clear that he ain't going to tolerate this shit, losing on purpose to get Victor. So he's probably got some sort of way of detecting this, and we may very well see one of the franchises get in trouble for this at some point. It may not be this year, but it could be in the years to come very soon. So very interesting stuff with that. G saying Savage, yep. Pascal putting out videos and saying we're in this together and not turning on each other. So that's good leadership. But in some ways, I want him to be that leader on the court that's like a little bit more like Michael Jordan. It's like a hard ass. Like he's too nice a guy. Pascal's just a really, really sweet, nice person. And in some ways, we need an asshole. And Fred's the asshole in some ways, and he gets a lot of grief for it. But we need that asshole as a leader on this team to tell the guys and kick them in the ass when they're not playing as good as they should. Country Kong saying, seems there's a lot of divisiveness among the fan base these days. It's unfortunate. I remember when We the North was created and the sense of pride and connection I felt with the entire fan base. Yeah, it is too bad, Country Kong. It really is. All right, we can have dissenting opinions. I have no problem with that. I don't mind people being haters and, being this way. Just be honest about who you are. Because in some ways, some of y'all aren't really fans if you really want to destroy the team verbally in so many different ways. And that's the thing. I agree with this. We the North is a saying that unites us all, that we are all the North, and that we have all different backgrounds, all kinds of different people that are involved in that North. And we don't all have to agree. And there will be dissension and differing opinions. But ultimately, a real Raptor fan should have the goal that the team is healthy, team is winning, and the team is on their way to more championships. And that, listen, some people come at from different ways. We come at from very positive, build it up kind of way. Some people may be like, we need to tear it down and build it in a different way because that'll lead to winning faster in some ways. That's what some people think in that way. And I can understand their logic with it. And they may have the best intentions and think that that is the thing that will get us to winning sooner. And they may be right in some cases. But in some ways, we're just coming at it from different directions. And in some ways, some of the people are too gleeful with kicking them when they're down. They're a little bit too insulting. They're a little bit disrespectful. And that's where the lines get crossed between being a real fan and not being a fan. Is that, fighting with the family of team players, talking shit about them, maybe making fun of them, maybe calling Fred VanVleet a midget. Yeah, you're not really a fan. You're actually an asshole. And as I said earlier, there's a bunch of fans that are like to pick on the little guy in the schoolyard. It's basically like you're a bunch of bullies in a big group and you're beating up on one little dude out in the recess. Like I said earlier, that's how I look at it right now in a way. Fiercely saying, unpopular Raptor, respectfully, get a life. Yes, Fiercely Salsera is telling you that. That must burn because Fiercely is fierce and she's telling you to go get a life. Sad but true. There you go, unpopular. Yeah, there you go. Logical saying, Country Kong, F Brooklyn, we the North was perfect. Yes, F Brooklyn. I love it. Raymond Jacobs, all about the Jerry today. Raymond Jacob is that guy who is sitting in the Jerry Springer audience yelling, Jerry, Jerry, and egging on every single chair thrown and every single throwdown between white trash on that stage on the Jerry Springer show. Raymond Jacob, if you had never been in the studio audience of one of those shows, you need to go do it. I feel like that should be one of your life goals, is to be an audience member in a very trashy daytime talk show. I love it. Carlos saying, imagine being this too critical in your own life. I know. Listen. Are you this hard on yourself? Seriously, y'all, that come after people like this. Let it go. Seriously. Or maybe you can't be this hard on anybody because you have no power in your own life. And only power you have is to criticize Fred VanVleet. And we're taking that away from you because everything else in your life sucks. And that's the only thing you feel like you have power over. That's a sad life. That is really a sad life. Very weirdo energy for sure. Pope of positivity. Canadian Cowboys saying, Tom, you got to take your headband off. Laugh out loud. Hit that like button. Lex, you're the fucking man. Great stream. Let's go, Raptors and Raptor freaks. Happy birthday, Scary Gary Trent Jr. That's right. 24 years old, Gary Trent Jr. It's his birthday. Let's put respect on that Minnesota man's name. He's in Minnesota today because they have an off day. So he's going to get to spend his birthday with his dad and his brothers and his teammates in Minnesota, which is so great. I love to hear that Gary can be in Minnesota for his 24th birthday, hopefully with Jordan Bolton also. So, yeah, good stuff. Happy birthday to him. Denal saying, I'm not enjoying watching lately. As someone who used to play professional sports, I know what it's like to not have fun playing. They don't always seem to be enjoying themselves. It affects play. Well, losing makes it really tough to enjoy things and stuff like that. As somebody who's played like sports professionally, you've got to understand like that desire to win and lose. It sucks. And like the competitiveness is very important. I understand this, but in some ways that is part of what drives the negative fans is they're so competitive. And they're so like tied into their identity, whether the Raptors are winning or not. They feel like when they lose, they're losing in their own life and they're just a win always kind of person. They get upset. And that's part of this problem with the Raptor fans not tolerating losing, is that you all need to detach yourselves a bit and just allow them to be a developing team with young players that will get better in the next couple of years. Come revisit us. If you have a hard time dealing with losing and you don't want to be around it, then just leave for a while. Come back. We don't have any problem with that. The real ones like us will stay and we'll go through the thick of it anyways. But if y'all are having so much of time with it and unhappiness, just turn it off. Go away for a little while and come back. Trust you, they will come back and they will be better and you will want to feel like coming back and watching again at some point. And I'm not saying that's you, Denial. I know that you'll probably watch anyway, even though you're not totally enjoying it. Space Cadet saying, shut up. I love it. Carlos is saying, as you said, Alex, we seem to be in a perfect shitstorm this season. Early injuries, contract issue on almost all the starters playing for their next contract. Nurse reluctant to play his bench. Yes, Carlos. Perfect shitstorm of circumstance in different ways that's made it difficult for us to win. A very stacked, difficult schedule by the NBA. A very fishy bunch of series of 2-game series with teams, way more than anybody else in the league, where we've got like 8 of them. Meanwhile, the New York Knicks only have 1. There's a lot of fishy shit about our schedule and how it's been set up for us to lose. And in some ways, we had a schedule hit job this year. It's not even a referee hit job like for a single game. The schedule hit job got us this year. And then you add in bad injuries like Pascal and Dallas and Precious. Yeah, there's a lot to kind of reeling from and to try and make up for. Mike saying, Denal, interesting. What sport? You're definitely talking facts about losing in team effect. Some teams can rebound through it and grow from it. So later managing momentum changes are easier being hard. Yeah, losing makes it even harder. And it's so hard to pull yourself out. And then the record himself, besides like the losing, like looking at the record and the standings, that is draining and hard too. That's why it just compounds itself. Sometimes winning compounds itself and snowballs into more winning, and losing snowballs into more losing. And that's why it's really tough to turn the tide and come a winning team from having losing happen around you. Just ask the Sacramento Kings. Blackhawks saying Nick Nurse could easily alternate Kem and Thad on every other game. Kem could have played last night and Thad on the next game. That gives us the bigger lineup as well. Yeah, I totally agree with this, Blackhawk. And I'm crying out for this. Nick, I would almost call you again, but I already called you today just to bug you about that. I would totally do that. Let's see. It jumped a little bit. I'll make sure I get all these. Carlos is saying at Blackhawk, definitely. I really like the rotations the past few games when we're winning, except the Atlanta game. I don't know why Nick Nurse reverted back to his heavy minutes rotation. Yeah, he's done it the last 2 games, and I don't like that. He needs to go back to what he was doing just a week ago because it was way better, way better. People are agreeing with Blackhawk a lot. Soccer. He plays soccer. Okay, he played professional soccer. That's very cool. When you're out there enjoying yourself, the losses suck. But when you keep grinding, when you aren't even enjoying the play, your energy is way off. Funky locker room, maybe. I think that they weathered it very well for the most part in November, but in December, it started to wear on them and just started getting old. And now it's starting to become like part of their identity for the season. And it sucks. That's so hard to beat. And you feel good when you're winning, but it's so much harder when you're losing to be motivated and get up and get it to the winning side of things again. That's just a part of it, the part of sports. And it's really tough. It snowballs and it gets worse. And that's the tough thing right now. Mike saying, denial, soccer, very interesting. You're probably in ridiculous condition, very high demanding sport, especially at the pro level. Big respect. It would be interesting to hear different comparisons in sport. Very cool. Respect for denial from Mike, logical Raptors fanatic. Fun guy saying, I love the Pelicans players, Ingram, Trey, Herb Jones, Graham, Jonas Valanciunas, and their high potential guard pick, Daniels. I do big trades with Pelicans. Give me all those guys. All right, so fun guy. I saw a deal that is put out there by ESPN, and it's by somebody who's learned, and it's very kind of reasonable. They were saying trade Gary Trent Jr. to the New Orleans Pelicans for Devontae Graham and Jackson Hayes and a draft pick. That they're saying that is a deal that looks pretty good for the Raptors because, first of all, you get Devontae Graham, who's a pretty good guard. Now, he has a DUI from last offseason, but hopefully that's not a problem with character or culture. But he's a pretty good like shooter, scorer, kind of point guard kind of guy, a backup point guard that we could use. And then you got Hayes, who's kind of a center. And he's young, and he's already kind of more established than somebody like Koloko. They could be good. I saw that mock trade, and I actually looked at it and it was like, that kind of makes sense for both sides in some ways. Although Gary going to the Pelicans, they already have CJ. Do they just need another guy like Gary Trent Jr.? I don't know. But this was a trade made up by an ESPN analyst that seemed very feasible and not actually horrible for the Raptors in some ways. We've seen as we get Jackson Hayes and Devontae Graham and a draft pick for Gary Trent. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see. Monique saying W Stream Lex. Let's go Raptors. Always keep at it despite the losses and negative side of different fans. Always with the team, obviously. And you fans, Raptors forever. You go, Monique Lawrence, and keep fighting that good fight as a Raptors super fan, Monique Lawrence. Blackhawk saying if Nick Nurse focuses more on team cohesiveness than the W, we will get better results. I can't say Nick Nurse is trying to protect his job because not developing a deeper bench is a way to lose his job. Help the bench. I know in some ways this really does make sense. Nick, you need to get better play out of your players. I don't think that he's in trouble with his job. As much as some Raptor fans think that we're going to fire Nick Nurse or he's in trouble, I don't think he is. I don't think he's anywhere near losing his job. And some people may be upset to hear that, but I don't think he is. And maybe in some ways that job security is part of the reason why we're so frustrated with him. I totally agree. He absolutely needs to develop his bench and play more players more often. For sure. And then it would garner more team cohesiveness by playing guys and having them get out there more. I totally agree with everything Blackhawk's saying here. Denal saying not in great condition anymore. I just know when chemistry is off. Everything those people do seems extra annoying. You ignore it when they score, but it's never gone. What it looks like to me, sadly. There's definitely like bad kind of like bounces, bad energy, bad just like not going our way kind of stuff happening this season. And some of it is like, yeah, I think they're trying really hard though, but it's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating because they're putting out such high effort and still not getting completely good results. And that is the thing that maybe makes them try a little less the next time. It's like, I tried my ass off and we still lost this game. Well, it's hard to get up for the next one. And yeah, I bet you Denal's seeing some insight from his own playing career, some of the stuff that happens in team sports when you have losing that's going on in the bodies of the Raptors right now. And I hate it. Happy birthday, Gary Trent Jr. I love it, Fiercey. Logical saying, denial, time is for unforgiving, fair points altogether. Well, he's probably in way better shape than a lot of us still. Who knows? Cowboy saying, have a great day, Lex, and Raptor Freaks on to the next game. I still believe. Let's go. That's right, Bradley. I love it. And then I was saying time, marriage, and kids. Laugh out loud. Okay, see, there you go. Kids, marriage, yeah. Practice is one thing, but these guys need game experience. I wish Nurse would just honestly tell us why he won't play the bench. Would quell the fans. Yeah, Samson Folk and Aaron Rose were joking around on Twitter about questions with Nick Nurse last night. They're saying, we're going to ask Nick about effort again because Nick got so mad about the effort questions the other day. And they're kind of being funny about pissing off Nick Nurse with the same questions over and over again. But I'd love to hear some more questions about why he doesn't play the bench more. For sure. I'd love to find out more reasoning and logic for why these guys aren't getting played because it doesn't make sense to me anymore. It really, really doesn't. There's detriment to the starters and to the bench in the way he's doing things. Fun guy saying, hey, Lex, mathematically, our record won't be good enough by trade deadline. So I think a trade is 100% happening, bro. We'll have to see. It's Bobby's job. I won't speculate. Just like Pascal says, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not in the front office. We're going to have to see what Bobby does. Monique saying team effort. And of course, I have to use it. There's all the Raptors emoticons. I love to see them, Monique. And W stream from Mike. I love that. All right, let me just do a recap, rehash real quick of what we talked about today real quick. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. First of all, the ESPN power rankings have come out today, and we have dropped another spot to 24th in their power rankings. We were 23 the week before. They're saying Tim Bontemps is the writer. Toronto's topsy-turvy season continued over the weekend with disappointing losses in winnable games against Atlanta and a depleted Milwaukee team, sandwiched around a thrilling overtime win over the Knicks across the past few days. Time is running out for the Raptors to salvage their season before some hard choices will have to be made ahead of next month's trade deadline. Exactly what you guys were just saying just now. What Fun Guy's saying is, yeah, there's going to be some tough choices to be made, and we're slipping to 24th. I hate that. I hate that so much. Why the fuck are we 24th on the ESPN Power Rankings Raptors? This is horrible. This is horrible. All right, once again, happy birthday, Gary Trent Jr. He's 24 today. Really good interview with Taylor Rooks and Pascal Siakam on the pregame on TNT yesterday. They were eating Cameroonian food and just talking and chatting. It was really cool to see some Raptors content on mainstream national television in the U.S. that was positive. And then once again, this idiot Lopez, we went over the exchange that he had after the game involving Joe Ingles and Zora Stevenson, and him saying that he thought that Gary's headband was talking to him, just like a serial killer would think that a dog in an apartment building next door would be talking to him. So yeah, Brook Lopez, we need a drug test for him, first of all, and maybe he needs concussion protocol. Maybe he needs to have his head checked in some ways, because you're a fucking weird dude. Trust me. You're a weird dude. All right, Raptors. Tough game, 130-22 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks last night. You got outshot, but you did out-rebound them, and you did do better on the turnovers. Couple of things that were bright spots, like Fred VanVleet's play and Scotty Barnes, of course. Tough stuff on the other side. Huge game from Drew Holiday. Grayson Allen, you are so annoying. I hate you. Ingles off the bench, really annoying too. Brook Lopez sideshow circus, so crazy. Bobby Portis, I'm so worried your eyes are going to pop out of your head one day because you look so crazy with your crazy eyes. Pat Connaughton, yeah, you had one of those moments where you look real like shamed because you couldn't make a basket when with our tall 6'9" guys around, and you got real upset about that at one point. I love that part. That was really fun to watch. And then on our side, yeah, not enough bench time. The 48 minutes played by the Raptors bench is not enough. And 13 minutes by the bench, that's not enough. They need to help carry more water for the overall score if we're going to be playing these high-scoring games, Nick. Halfway through the game, you should have known when the score was like 60-70 before halftime that this is going to be a scoring race. And then you got to adjust accordingly and start playing your bench more minutes so that your starters can be fresh when it's really, really tough to close the game out in the last 5 minutes and overcome possibly a 4-point lead for the Bucks. If you had rested the main guys a little bit earlier in the second and the third quarter, a little bit more, maybe they would have had more juice to overcome the deficit at the end of the game. It is what it is, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Learning lessons indeed. A team in development, a team that's good, a team that can win, but a team that's also in development and loses all the time as also. Denal said, the headband was talking to me too, Lex. It said, let's go. Yeah, Lopez needs Ibaka hands to his face, even though it's his teammate. You know, what is up with that? Maybe, I don't know. Ibaka's probably nowhere near them right now. Hilarious stuff, though. Yeah, Brook Lopez, what is wrong with you? You need your head checked. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me today. Tomorrow, preview of the Minnesota Timberwolves game. The Raptors will be in Minnesota tomorrow night to play the Timberwolves. Hopefully, we can get a good win over them. I'll do the preview tomorrow after I do my research today of seeing what's going on with them and letting you guys know what is all the latest with them. And I'll have the referees, of course, for the game tomorrow, also 9:30 a.m. Thursday morning. Thank you for joining me today. Timberwolves are up and down. Yeah, a lot of people are saying the Gobert trade was a big fail. Maybe one of the worst trades in the history of the NBA because of that rookie for Utah that they got him. He's improved over what Gobert was doing for them. And then they got all these other assets around Kessler. And now, yeah, you know, there's a lot of interesting things being said about Minnesota and their big deal to get Rudy Gobert this summer right now. Well, I'll do some investigation of what's happening with them presently with their team, and I'll have it ready for you guys tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Subscribe with 5 accounts, Bates and Arts. I don't care. Keep coming in. I'll keep kicking you out if you continue to run your mouth like you did today. And I appreciate everybody battling with him in there too. It's like, listen, you can have opinions, have any kind of opinion here. I've heard many different opinions in here that I didn't totally agree with. And people have not agreed with me all the time in this channel, and they very much survived for a very long time in this channel. There's different lines you cross when you come in here and you act a certain way that will get you kicked out. And that's just how it is. All right, y'all. Have a great Wednesday. And let's get out there and do it. And let's go Raptors. And I'll see y'all tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. All right. Keep believing, y'all. Stay positive, just like Pascal would tell you to.